radio station. DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
They arrived here in 2008. And this city, this fan base, this community has embraced them from day one. Shot clock is off. They'll run it out. The Thunder have taken the NBA by storm. For the first time, the NBA champion resides in Oklahoma City. The storybook season is complete.
And to the victors go the spoils. The Oklahoma City Thunder, your NBA champions for 2024-2025. DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden's here along with Dragon Ball. JW, you kind of called this back last summer going into the season that you thought this was going to be one of the teams to have to chase down because of all the young talent that they had, and they were able to have a phenomenal regular season and then finish the deal with a 7-game series win over the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's watched Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play knows that his game kind of speaks for itself. But when they added Lou Dort and then they drafted J-Dub, Jalen Williams, that kind of put together a bit of a core. But then they got Chet, and Chet Holmgren at 7'3", with his shot blocking and ability to shoot off the dribble and knock down open shots from the outside. That kind of put them into a category, DK, of young, up-and-coming rosters if they keep it together. But then they picked up Hartenstein and Caruso over the summer. And come on, I mean, you talk about two guys to round out a roster. They just set the record for most steals in the NBA Finals and most steals in an NBA playoff run. That's what Oklahoma City does. Obviously, we'll talk about what happened on the Pacers side of things, the worst possible way to end a season for any sports fan out there. I don't care if you're an Indiana fan or not. You never want to see it end like that. But tip your cap to the Thunder because Dragon Ball, that group of young players are too young. They didn't know how to pop champagne. They had to have Alex Caruso.
They old enough to drink?
No. Literally, you say that, but literally, Jalen Williams had his first sip of alcohol in the postgame locker room ever. He's 23. So they're too young to really understand the pressure, I think, is a big part of that. There weren't a lot of gigantic names, right, that you might think of the LeBrons and the Stephs and all of that. It's a new era, and that Oklahoma City team, Dragon Ball, is ready to put their name in the mix of, hey, we should be expected to cut the nets down.
They're young, and they have the depth. And not only that, let's not forget, technically speaking, this team's second best point guard behind Shai. Again, there's a big drop in between the second best point guard and Shai. But Nikola Topic was supposed to be a guy that was going to really round out this roster with a lot of youth. He hasn't played a game in the NBA. He's an NBA champion. He's going to come in next season as a potential high-end candidate as a young and up-and-coming rising star as well. This is a team that has so much depth, they don't know what to do with it all, and that's a scary thing, especially when you consider the fact that most of these guys are under contract for a good period of time. You got a couple of these guys that are still got 2 more years after this season, and there's going to be a lot of veterans that are going to look to try and join up with this squad like Alex Caruso did this year, and they're going to see what can they do to give a little bit of extra depth along the line for this squad.
It also, we got to mention, it starts with Sam Presti. And what Sam Presti did, a lot of people kind of slept on the results of the trade they made with the Clippers 4 years ago, which landed them 5 first-round draft picks. They have so many first-round picks, DK. Even with this roster, even with cutting the nets down last night, if you had to pick a team with the brightest future, independent of their current roster, it would still probably be Oklahoma City. They have so many assets. And to me, the greatest thing, I've talked about this all season, the last couple of seasons, really. The greatest thing to me is how at the end of the game, they all come to the sideline reporter who wants to get the mic in Shai's face and say, Shai, how'd you score 30 and have 10 assists? All of the starters 3 or 4 of the bench people all come to the side and they all do the interview together. It's about as connected a group, and they played that way, man. I mean, there was definitely some adversity, and they got blown out in Game 6, right? They had a lot of questions. The pressure started to mount, and down by 1 point, Tyrese Halliburton, listeners, if you didn't hear, he tore his ACL. That's what came out today in the first quarter. He was
Achilles.
His Achilles. He was 3 for 4 from 3 at the time, was balling out. We need to talk, first of all, about Achilles and calf injuries, because this is becoming a bit of a trend. We'll get into that. But the idea of the Pacers being up by 1 point at halftime with their best player not having played in a quarter and a half, Oklahoma City found a way. They got it done there in the second half, and all credit to them. Kudos. A really, really fun team to watch. Good team basketball. A lot of really team-oriented players, Dragon Ball. My favorite style of basketball.
Yeah, no, they all look to try and get everybody. And that's the thing about that game last night for Game 7. Shea set a new playoff high for him when it came to assists. He was looking to pass the ball off, and they ran more pick and roll than I've seen them really run with Shea as the main ball handler. He had really been, for the most part, a guy that was just going to break a defender down at the top of the key, hit that step back, which he hits so well, post up a little bit, because he's a bit of a bigger point guard than you see typically in the NBA. But that game, he was running the pick and roll. He was getting Chet involved.
I don't think any point guard in the history of the NBA has ever led the NBA in scoring. So I don't know if you can call a guy who led the NBA in scoring. He's a combo. I mean, he plays the one, and the way that offense runs, it's really ISO-heavy Harden style, where they say, hey, Shea, clear out. And then he gets doubles, and that's where all his assists come from. If you ask me, it was just such two unbelievable coaching staffs on either side. And you talk about what Rick Carlisle did, Mark Dagnall also as well, but the switching back and forth, Pacers full court pressed to keep Shea his legs tired in the fourth when he was trying to be a closer. It paid off huge because they ended up winning, right? That to go ahead, to go up 3-2. That was the game where Shea kind of faltered down the stretch, didn't have his legs. The very next game, you know what OKC did? They ran their pick and rolls 75 feet from the basket. They had both their bigs in the backcourt, setting screens for Jalen Williams and for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Then the next game, Pacers didn't press once. They didn't do any backcourt pressing. So it was really a matter of X's and O's and a lot of chess stuff going on behind the scenes. What that thing about Shea setting his record, setting his most assist totals in the finals, when you play a player to score, they can get assists off of that. When you play a player to pass because the other guys aren't knocking shots down, then all of a sudden you can get his. TJ McConnell scored 12 consecutive points last night for the Pacers, guys. He did that because every possession they're playing him to pass. He's trying to set up his teammates. Shea is always going to command doubles. The problem is when you surround him, like the Thunder and Sam Presti have done, with 4 shooters on the court at all times, that 5-out spread, with a couple of rebounders with Chet and Hartenstein, especially those two guys, and then Jalen Williams is a big dude. Luke Dort is a big dude for his size. Yeah, they just have a really, really nice roster construction. The question then becomes, everybody wants to know what Luka and LeBron need to do to win titles. What do people in the West need to do to keep Oklahoma City from stringing a few together?
Trade for Kevin Durant?
Yeah, that's too late. It didn't happen.
Another team will try to accomplish that, trading for Kevin Durant. The other big news of the weekend. 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. You mentioned Mark Dagnall, and shout out to former college basketball managers getting into head coaching and winning an NBA title. I've mentioned before I was a former college basketball manager. Mark Dagnall was a former college basketball manager. Didn't play in college. He was a manager at the University of Connecticut under Jim Calhoun. I've known a ton of guys who have gotten into college basketball as managers for this specific purpose because they want to coach. They want to have that opportunity to coach the game at a high level, and so they take the manager's route in order to be around programs and be able to learn from great legendary Hall of Fame coaches like Jim Calhoun's. And, back in my day, I worked for George Raveling at the University of Southern California, and I've known a ton of guys that have managed in the program here at the University of Arizona. We joke about, their basketball playing skills, but a lot of those kids that are on these campuses in those roles hope to maybe essentially be what Mark Daigneault has been able to accomplish, and that's to get into an NBA system where you can begin to work your way up as an assistant coach to get to that lead seat. He's just 40 years old, I believe, when he got the job. He's had the job for 6 years. I don't even know if a lot of people even knew his name before.
Well, 3 years ago they won 20. 3 years ago they won 20 games.
Yeah,
so nobody
exactly.
knew his name 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew what his name was at the beginning of this playoff series.
Spo was a film coordinator.
Film coordinator, yeah.
Spo never was a coach or player either. And he's got a couple of championships as well.
Same route. I mean, film coordinators. That's kind of the roll in for a lot of these guys. I remember one of my friends that I went to college with. He was the ball boy for the Lakers, and he turned that in to the film coordinator position as he got older to try to create his path potentially to being a coach at the NBA. So that's how a lot of these guys that maybe didn't necessarily play the game. We talk about the analytics guys, but a lot of these just gym rat kids who played the game growing up, maybe didn't have the talent to play at the collegiate level, but found their way into the game and turned it into awesome opportunities like what Mark Daigneault
I think
did.
what you're looking at is guys who are 5'9" and weigh 97 pounds, and you love basketball, and you played basketball your whole life, but then you graduate high school, and the question is, do I want to go average 10 points at a D3 school, or do I want to go to a major D1 university and be behind the scenes but never actually put a uniform on because I love the game so much and I want to be, Bobby Knight had a big pipeline as well. A lot of people coming through that program. Real quick, since you did mention it, I have to ask the only Suns fan who's in the room with us right now. Have you, Dragon Ball, bought your Dylan Brooks jersey yet?
No, I have not. I have not bought my Dylan Brooks. I've not bought my Jalen Green, and I certainly have not reserved my order for whoever the 10th pick will be, or any of the 5 second-round picks.
Maybe Carter Bryant.
There's a part of me that really hopes no. There's a really part. It's not that I don't like Carter Bryant.
You don't want to wish that on a guy like Carter Bryant.
No, the main thing is also it's just again we'll have further discussion. I'm not going to get into it now because I don't want to end up taking another 3 minutes to have my diatribe. But I will have my piece when we get into that more in depth.
I think the chances of Dylan Brooks being there long term are less than Jalen Green being there long term.
Yeah, no, it's when you have that log jam at 2, you definitely need to go ahead and
7 shooting guards on that roster.
No, somebody's going to need to move.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, the NBA champions are the Oklahoma City Thunders. If you are from Oklahoma City, I know I've got Oklahoma City listeners out there. I want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. Your team winning their first title 17 years after the move from Seattle. They are champions of the NBA, and they'll be having that. They were so confident they had the buses already put together and stripped out underneath the stadium, the arena last night. That's how confident they were that they were going to get this thing done. Want to hear from you on that. We were talking just briefly there about the trade. Kevin Durant moved to the Houston Rockets for the 10th pick in the draft and some other assets. Jalen Green, who's a great young guard.
My favorite part is Oklahoma City, who just won the title last night, drafted Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. He was with Seattle the year before they moved to Oklahoma City, but same franchise, and James Harden. All 3 of those players have now played for the Houston Rockets as well.
Yeah.
It's just like the weirdest thing, because all anybody could talk about was how could this Shea and J-Dub group lead them to a title when KD and Westbrook and Durant couldn't, or KD, Durant, and Harden couldn't do that. 3 MVPs drafted by Oklahoma City will all now don a Rockets jersey as well. Just weird.
And, of course, the ASU fans are talking smack because their guy, Lou Dort, is a champion, and TJ McConnell and Ben Mathurin are not. But we can have that discussion as well if you are a Sun Devil fan.
Lou Dort was a first-team All-NBA defender this year.
Yeah.
He made the first team, guys. First-team All-NBA defender. So, I mean, he has really, for as much trash as we like to talk about the school up north, As far as producing on a basketball court and helping your team, now we could talk about his playing defense in the NBA like a linebacker in the NFL a little bit because he's very physical.
There's also that flop he had earlier.
He flops all the time.
That
All the
flop
time.
was bad.
But again, first team All NBA defender, voted as one of the 5 best defenders in the NBA this season.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get into that. We'll talk more NBA Finals. We'll hear from T.J. McConnell after his performance, and just an unbelievable third quarter for him, but fell into one of the reasons why the Oklahoma City Thunder got this title, and that's their ability to just turn teams over. We'll hear from TJ, as well as we will talk a little bit about the Men's College World Series. We'll get in more to the Kevin Durant trade. Daryl Joyner, our Suns guy from Phoenix, he'll join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, we'll start to break down the Bear Down blueprint, the path to success that the Arizona Athletics Department plans to take into this new era of revenue share. Desiree Reed-Francois, the athletics director, will also join us coming up later on. She'll be with us in the 4 o'clock hour at 4:20. DK on the Sports Tip got the full crew with us all this week. Full shows. No baseball tonight because LSU got it done. We thought we might have a short show, but they took care of business sweeping Coastal Carolina. We'll talk about that as well. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Freedom 1400 traffic and weather together. I-10 near Alvernon, collision reported off on the side of the road from the westbound side of I-10 near Alvernon Way. Other collisions at Euclid and Speedway, crash at Broadway and Keno Parkway. 75 the overnight low, 100 to about 102 through the weekend, 100 now.
This
I'm
report
Cricket
is
with your
sponsored
Wildcat.
by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here? You know, I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
Ever wish you could get advice from your future self?
Psst. Hey, you, present self.
Huh? Who said that?
It's me. I mean you, from 40 years in the future.
Future me? Wow.
Look, there's no time. The most important thing you need to do right now is go to Tobacco Barn.
Tobacco Barn? Why?
We could have saved a fortune.
What are you talking about?
At Tobacco Barn, you save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products. 40%! Do you know how much that adds up to over 40 years?
40%? Wow, that's a lot.
And get this, you pay no city or state sales tax. It's basically free money. Plus, there's a $3 coupon available at tobaccobarntucson.com.
A $3 coupon? No sales tax, 40% off. Why didn't you tell me sooner, future self?
By the way, when you meet a girl named Charlene, don't ask her to marry you.
I already did.
Oh, crud.
Don't wait for your future self to tell you. Save today at Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, 1 mile south of Valencia. Check tobaccobarntucson.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making.
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free. No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine. Wait, I thought I was whine. You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me. William is crunch. Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
T.J. McConnell looking to get inside. Holmgren discourages him, tries again. Layup, that's good. McConnell goes right at the 7-footer.
He's hesitant right now to shoot that three.
McConnell, penetration and finish once again. Jim Hard to McConnell. McConnell on the drive, pulls off shot. It's good. McConnell mayhem once again, and here in Game 7. McConnell, so confident, gets to the rim and scores again. T.J. McConnell pulls up, puts it in. He is dominating here in this third quarter.
T.J. McConnell did everything that he could to try to bring that Larry O'Brien trophy back to Indianapolis. Unbelievable performance in game number 7. 28 minutes off the bench. He had 16 points. He just was fabulous shooting the basketball last night. 8 of 13, 12 consecutive points in that third quarter. But again, one of the things that this Oklahoma City team does is they turn you over. 21 turnovers for the Indiana Pacers, of which TJ had 7 of those turnovers. So that maybe was the one blip on his performance, that in that run in the third quarter where Oklahoma City turned over the game, or turned the game, I should say, for lack of a better term. They really did a great job of bracketing him and forcing him into some bad mistakes.
The greatest thing about Tyrese Halliburton is that he's 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", really long arms, and he's got a super tight handle, and he's very shifty. And his assist-to-turnover ratio is the best of all time for a player who's led the NBA in assists. I mean, it's off the charts, like 5-to-1 type territory. And the reason for that is because he's got a lot of like Steve Nash in his game, where he's really, the maestro. He's really feeling out what the defense is giving, and he's either taking to the basket for an easy layup, or if you take that away, he's kicking to the corner. Whatever you take away, he's going to take advantage of. TJ is a guy who comes in, change of pace for 8-minute stretches and just goes like his hair's on fire, right? I mean, the amount of pace he brings, just forcing tempo constantly nonstop, is such a great change of pace. It's like having that 6'2", 240-pound running back that you replace with a 5'9", 180-pound guy to get between the tackles, right? And when TJ has to do it all, when Tyrese Halliburton goes down in that first quarter, halfway through, it's really tough because TJ is under the ball pressure of guys like Lou Dort and guys like Shea and guys like J-Dub, all potential first-team all-NBA defenders. It's going to happen where TJ is going to turn the ball over a little bit because he's forcing it nonstop, constantly, and you can only go to that well so many times. And so it works perfectly when Tyrese and TJ are exchanging ball handling duties back and forth for that roster. Last night, the 7 turnovers, guys, in my experience, my opinion, watching the full game, had everything to do with Ty not being in that game and TJ being forced to be the primary ball handler against, like I just said, statistically the best, theftiest team in NBA playoff history.
It comes down to about 3 different things for me, and I'll make them quick. The main thing was, if you know that this is a team in the Thunder that are going to do everything that they can to go ahead and trap you, why are you running the pick and roll with the back of the pick guy looking towards the sideline? We all know if you're a defender, you can step out of bounds and it's not going to affect the game whatsoever. But if you're an offensive player and you have the ball, you can't step on that line. That's an extra defender. When you're running that pick and roll with the back towards the sideline, you're giving the Thunder an extra defender because then you collapse on top of TJ. And there was the one turnover where just all of a sudden Thunder upon Thunder just collapsed on TJ. He had to kick it out. He had nowhere to go, and that led to a turnover. That was just a bad situation for the Pacers.
And it's extra tough because they're talking about 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" guys with really long arms, and TJ is not that.
Yeah, and the other thing that TJ is not is that he's not really what you would describe as a very skilled outside shooter. When the Thunder knew that TJ was going to have to handle the ball over a long period of time, he had his run there, and we heard a lot of that right there. But once you get that, okay, TJ can't shoot outside. He's going to come to the paint, and he's going to have to kick it out to shooters, or he's going to try to shoot over the top. What's going to happen when we get him inside the paint directly under the basket? Okay, put the body up, put the hands up, make him stop. He's got to collect, and now he's got to kick it out. And that's where other turnovers start coming into play. The Thunder saw what the Pacers, their lack of outside shooting was going to cause, and the Thunder took advantage of it. And Nembhard, he's a great guard. Don't get me wrong. I think he's got a chance to be a very good point guard in the future. But right there in that moment, it definitely showed he's not used to having major ball handling responsibilities for a long, extended period of time because he had a lot of those turnovers as well.
They need perimeter scoring, right? You just said TJ has never and probably will never be a guy from 23 feet and out who can knock that shot down consistently. But Andrew Nembhard can. And Andrew Nembhard can do it off the dribble. Andrew Nembhard has a little bit of Steph to his game. The problem being there is when Tyrese Haliburton goes down, Nembhard has to switch over and be much more of a scoring threat from the perimeter. So Nembhard played 37 minutes. He only had 2 turnovers. You know, TJ with the primary ball handling skills, they were playing him to pass even after he scored 12 consecutive points, David Kelly. They are always going to play TJ McConnell to pass. Because getting in the lane and setting up your teammate for a dunk is what TJ's trying to do every time. He almost scores because nobody's guarding him. It's like, okay, you're going to give me this. It wasn't TJ, and it wasn't Benedict Mathurin with 24 points off the bench. We haven't even mentioned Ben. That team, guys, 8 players on that team averaged double figures in this NBA Finals. 8 players averaged double figures in this NBA Finals. They got 42 points off the bench last night. 40 of them from TJ and Ben. 40 points from 2 guys. Only 2 points from the rest of the players were from Tony Bradley, who only played in 3. He has only played in like 10 games all year long. Obi Toppin didn't score. Thomas Bryant didn't score. Ben Shepherd didn't score. That's what that Pacers team is known for, is having 7, 8 guys who can get buckets. It was really only 2 guys off that bench. And when Tyrese Haliburton went down, that was the reason they really struggled scoring, is guys you had come to expect, like Obi Toppin, could seem like he could drop 20 on you any given night if he got hot from the outside. He just didn't bring much of anything offensively last night, and there's so much more pressure on guys like Turner and Siakam when your bench just isn't bringing it.
You mentioned Ben Mathurin. He had a double-double in the game last night, 24 points, 13 rebounds in his time off the bench. Let's hear from TJ McConnell, and obviously the air was sucked out of the building in the first quarter when his teammate, Tyrese Haliburton, went down with an injury.
It was a tough feeling to see your franchise guy go down like that. But to have to move on and kind of compartmentalize it is tough. I thought we were fine. We I don't even remember the score going into halftime, but we were up 1. So. I thought we did a good job of kind of compartmentalizing it. Obviously, we missed him, but we all are devastated for him, and obviously support him.
48-47 was the score in favor of the Pacers at the break of game number 7. Clear video after the ball game of T.J. McConnell, heartbroken, leaving the floor. Kind of reminded you of that game here in Arizona when he walked off and hugged Sean Miller before the loss to Wisconsin in the Elite Eight, gave a long hug to Reggie Miller, who was standing in the tunnel, and then Tyrese Halliburton on crutches, standing outside the locker room, greeted every single person as they walked by. TJ talked about Tyrese doing that and said he didn't really need to do that at all.
It doesn't surprise me at all. That's who he is as a person, teammate. Puts his ego aside constantly, and he could have been in the locker room feeling sorry for himself after something like that happened. But he wasn't. He was up greeting us. You know, a lot of us were hurting from the loss, and he was up there consoling us. That's who Tyrese Halliburton is. He's just the greatest, man.
No question about that. A great young leader on that team. Unfortunately, one that they're probably going to be missing for a majority, if not all, of next season.
So they were third in the preseason 2025-26 NBA Finals probabilities in Vegas. And when that happened, they dropped to 15th.
Wow.
So, I mean, they were already among some of the bookmakers of not a favorite, but one of the favorites for next season, because again, that's a very young roster core as well. But that's how much Tyrese Halliburton means to that team. I mean, you know, he's not the scorer that LeBron James is, right? And he's not the assist guy maybe that, you know, John Stockton is, or whoever you want to put in there. But as far as an overall player that means everything to that team in that pace, in that system, it's really tough to even think about that team without Tyrese Halliburton. Can we talk about calf injuries leading to
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Achilles? So that's the third this season, guys.
Yep.
Damian Lillard had a calf injury, tore his Achilles. Jason Tatum had a calf injury, came back, tore his Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton had a calf injury, came back, tore his Achilles. Kevin Durant's last game with the Warriors, he had a calf injury and had come back from a calf injury and same injury. I mean, again, and I'm not here saying those players should not have played. If they didn't play, people will be talking about you got to play through injury. You got to find a way to be out there for your team. But the idea that a calf injury has led to that specific, I mean, at hindsight being 2020 and all, your GM, would I rather have my star player in 2 playoff games or be able to play for the next 9 months? Because that's the situation they're in. This season, this playoff season alone, Lillard, Tatum, and Halliburton, all the same injury, all had calf injuries prior to it.
It's tough. It's tough because you don't. I mean, again, there's no as good as the Pacers are. There's no guarantee they'll get back, and sometimes you may only get that one opportunity, and so it's hard in that situation when you want to go out there and you want to be. You don't want to be known, like you said. You don't want to be known as the guy who sat out in that type of situation. And so you put that mindset in there for the team, and now, unfortunately, that injury happens. It's a very debilitating injury. It's a very tough injury to come back from. We did see, obviously, Kevin Durant has come back from it. All those guys you mentioned, Damian Lillard obviously is still doing so, but will come back and play, and probably play at a very high level. Unfortunately for next year, though, it just probably isn't going to be right away or as soon as the Pacers would like.
I got one more Achilles stat to throw out for you. In the last 43 years, there's been 45 Achilles tears.
Wow.
This year, there's been 8. And 3 of them were Pacer players. They lost both their backup centers, guys, Wiseman and Jackson. They lost both their backup centers to Achilles tears earlier this season. So they played the entire season without backup centers, and now Tyrese Halliburton. So 3 from one team. That's like 1.5, 1.2 average per year for the past 45 years. 8 this year.
One thing that I want to just kind of chime in, because when I saw the statistics about the Achilles injuries and the players that it affected, I wanted to get an idea about, okay, there's got to be a denominator besides the calf injury. And looking through it, DK and J-Dub, this is something that I thought was interesting. Kobe Bryant, when he tore his Achilles, wearing low-top shoes. Kevin Durant, low-top shoes. Damian Lillard, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum all wear low-top sneakers when they had their tears. Now, I'm not going to say that those are any kind of like, oh, it's the shoe's fault. The shoe is the reason. Like, obviously, that's a very small thing. But that ankle support on high-top sneakers versus low-top sneakers, it could lead to something related to the muscle in the ankle and the calf having to have more of a reaction to jumping and things like that, and that may be something to look into. And then plus, I think if I looked into it, I think when Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles, he was wearing low-top cleats as well. So this may have something to do with lack of ankle support.
Can you say got to be the shoes one more time?
It's got to be the shoes.
So I know Dragon was a little young for that, but when he was saying that, it's semi-inappropriate. Like, I had a flashback to Spike, got to be the shoes, the first Michael Jordan commercials they ever made. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Spike Lee. So good.
Absolutely. That's a very interesting analogy. It's definitely something potentially to look at.
I mean,
moving forward,
it makes total sense. If the injury itself, he was actually pressing with his right foot to go forward.
Yeah.
This wasn't a lateral situation. He was moving to move forward, and you could just see the reaction of his leg giving way. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that a high top would have prevented that specific injury.
Yeah, no.
But the more support in that area, if you think about the way the mechanics of the back of your foot are going to work when you're pushing off to move forward, that makes a ton of sense.
That's the video of those Achilles tears is just it's hard to get out of your head.
I still can't watch Paul George's injury. That's the one.
No.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get on the program. I want to hear from you today as well on your thoughts. Oklahoma City winning the NBA Finals. What did you think about TJ McConnell's performance? It's just been incredible to watch that young man, especially over the course of the last 2 seasons when he was looking at potentially losing a primary place in their rotation.
We did a whole
going into last year
on Rick Carlisle being in tears.
Yeah,
DK, because he had to go and have the conversation with TJ that was after the playoff run that Andrew Nembhard was coming and that he needed to get Andrew Nembhard more minutes and that TJ's minutes might disintegrate. He might not actually. And then he had last year's playoff run and got the huge $33 million contract. And that's ancient history. But there was a time not 18 months ago that there were talk about TJ maybe not being in that pace rotation.
Just a testament to his perseverance as a professional basketball player and of just continuing to make Southern Arizona and the Wildcat Nation proud. All right, we'll also hear from another Arizonan, J-Dub, not the J-Dub you're hearing from currently, but the J-Dub of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll hear from Jalen Williams as well, a champion now in the National Basketball Association. Straight ahead, DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. With collisions that are reported at Speedway and Euclid and Speedway, also Broadway and Keno Parkway and Broadway. Crash that occurred on I-10 near Alvernon on the westbound side of I-10 near Alvernon Way and off on the side of the road. 75, the overnight low, 100 to about 102 through the week. 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Prime Day.
Okay, I've got some good news and I've got some great news. The good news is that Prime Day is almost here. The great news, this year you'll have 4 days to find deals on all of your favorite things. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management and practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing, no matter what kind of
crunch,
whine or boing your AC is making.
We fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we polar bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free, no matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. You know, brake repair doesn't have to be expensive to be good. At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we've been providing award-winning service since 1960, including top-quality brake repairs at the best prices in town. Call, stop by, or go online to make an appointment. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
The United States have the lead.
The United States in full command.
And didn't she enjoy that one?
Never miss a game.
Look at the pace she puts on this ball with that little slip run. Great first touch.
Never miss a moment.
Get a hold of it.
The back of the net.
Great goal for the United States.
Goal for goal.
Yeah! The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah, it's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. In the finals as a whole, and specifically in the first half of Game 7 last night, the Thunder didn't always look like the pending juggernaut we assume they are. But that was just a young group finishing its degree in title winning. The postseason is not the regular season. We should have expected a bumpy road to the title, not clear sailing. But maybe these lessons mean their next title will be a smooth ride. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BEACH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BEACH to 42424. That's BEACH to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are about an hour away from Diamondbacks baseball. A little bit of a weird road trip. They go east, they come back to Colorado, and now they go back to Chicago for a series against the White Sox. I'll be in Chicago watching some baseball next week. We'll get into that later. A big milestone weekend, though, for one Geno Suarez.
Now the pitch swung on, high fly ball, left field in deep. Back is back, looking up. 300 for Suarez. One of the greatest sluggers out of Venezuela Major League Baseball has seen. It's a 2-homer performance. He has reached history.
History indeed, joining that select crew from Venezuela, 300-plus home runs. He is the third to do it. Miguel Cabrera, longtime Marlin and Tiger, hit 511 home runs in his career. And Andres Big Cat El Gato Galarraga, 399 in his career. He played a number of years, ironically, with the Rockies, which is where Geno had a pretty good weekend, hitting 2 home runs in that game on Friday night, and then hitting another home run on Saturday to finish up the weekend with 301 career jacks. After the ball game on Friday, which was a 14-8 win for the Snakes, Torey Lovullo in the clubhouse.
He continues to go out there and play at an unbelievable level, never lets his guard down. Your 300th Major League home run today, brother.
Obviously feel good. Thank you guys for the support all year long. Since last year that I get here, I never thought that this is gonna happen. I never give up. I always say that, right, Corp? Never give up. This game is awesome. It's giving me a lot, and I appreciate all you guys for being part of this. Thank you, all the staff, hitting coach. All you guys made me better, and you guys made me better as well. So thank you very much, and thank you for being part of this day and these home runs. And for God.
Emotional Geno Suarez saying these homers are for God in his post-game message there. Of those 3 that we were talking about, Miguel Cabrera, Andres Galarraga, and Geno Suarez. Suarez has hit the most of in one season in that group. He had 49 home runs back during the 2019 season.
What's the separation between Geno and Miggy's batting average?
I would say Miguel was always Geno's not a great average
Miguel,
hitter.
there was a period, guys, when, especially with the Pirates, there was a period of 2 or 3 years where I don't think he had a hole in his swing.
No.
I think he hit literally anything you threw at him in any direction you wanted to.
Yeah, no question. Miguel Cabrera out of that group was the best pure hitter of those 3. For sure. More from Geno Suarez talking to Arizona Wildcat grad Todd Walsh after the ball game on hitting 300 home runs.
He's blessed, I feel the guy. This is the gift, I feel so proud of myself. I've been working so hard all my career, and see that, put everything on the field. Try to help my team win games, and came here and doing it in front of my wife and my daughter. They came watch me, so it's even more special, and it's something that I always dream. And today the dream come true, a little guy from Venezuela, Ciudad PR, hit a 300 homer right now in big leagues. It's awesome, and I feel so blessed. I feel so good and so proud of myself, and I feel so good right now. I feel so happy. I want to cry because, like you say, a year ago, like my career maybe went down for a lot of people, but not for me. I never lost my belief. I always work hard. I know what I can do, and today I show up like that. Now I put my name in that list, and I feel blessed.
He's got 25 home runs this season. Again, the average is not maybe what you'd like it to be, but the guy's got 25 jacks, and he's been hot. Yeah, he's been hot of late. He's hitting 353 over the last 13 games, and we've seen him get in stretches like this where he can get hot just hitting, not just necessarily hitting home runs, but hitting the baseball, period. And we might be in one of those stretches right now.
Yeah, last year, didn't he have like 4 home runs for the first 2.5 months, and then he just went on a tear where he hit like 20 home runs in 20 games?
Exactly. It was an absolute bender. So Salvador Perez is next in terms of the Venezuelan population, is next on the list. He only needs 19. I don't know if he'll get there this year, maybe next year, but he needs 19 to get into that 300 home run club, along with 3 great guys in Geno Suarez, Andres Galarraga, and Miguel Cabrera. Torey Lovullo on really what it meant for this team to see Geno hit this mark.
You honored a great baseball player, but an even better human being. And for those that were in here, I'm sure it's going to get on social media. It was a special moment, and his teammates mean a lot to him. His accomplishments obviously speak for themselves, but this is a very close team. This is a very united team, and there's no words for it. You know, you just let it happen right in front of you. For me, it's like being a proud dad. You watch all the players smiling and just pulling for Geno to hit 300 home runs is unbelievable. And he kind of said he never dreamed it would ever happen, but he's glad that he did. And he basically never takes it for granted. Every day is a special day for him.
D-backs took 2 out of 3 this weekend. You would have liked to have swept the Rockies, but couldn't get it done on Sunday. It was tied Saturday in the 5th inning when Geraldo Perdomo came up with a man on.
Perdomo is 1 for 2. And trying to give the D-backs the lead right back. Here it is. There's a swing and a ball hit high and deep to right field. Freeman moving back, looking up. That is gone. He does give the Diamondbacks the lead, and he does it with his 8th home run of the season. It's a 2-run shot to right. The D-backs on top 5-3.
It would stay 5-3. Rockies would put a runner, on in the 9th inning. Shelby Miller trying to shut it down.
And if you're Shelby, got to throw that one right at the top of the zone.
The 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Shelby strikes out the side in the 9th, and the Diamondbacks hang on and win by a final score of 5-3.
That's what Shelby Miller did. He put that fastball at the top of the zone to get that strikeout to close out Saturday's win. Unfortunately, yesterday, a 4-2 victory by the Rockies. Really one mistake. Brandon Pfaadt giving up a 3-run home run in the 5th inning of that ball game yesterday to Mickey Moniak, and that was the difference in a 4-2 victory for the Rockies. Torey Lovullo on, though, what he liked about Brandon Pfaadt's outing.
It was as good a stuff as I've seen in about 5 or 6 starts, so I felt very comfortable with all of his pitches. He was challenging the zone with his fastball. He was locating with his fastball. He had some really good changeups to left-handed hitters. The sweeper was in play, so it was a very complete effort. He made a mistake to a hitter that possibly was looking for it, and a 3-run home run is the difference in the game today.
And I was gone, obviously, in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago, so we never really talked about Kevin Ginkel coming back to the big leagues after his demotion down to Reno, and struggled in his first 2 outings back, but was lights out this weekend, had a couple of scoreless 1-inning outings, and that was good to see. Needed just 10 pitches to navigate the 6th inning yesterday before handing the ball off to the bullpen. To Torey Lovullo, liked what he's seen this weekend from one Kevin Ginkel.
We're looking to get him on a roll in any way that we possibly can. We know what he's capable of doing. He carries a heavy workload when he's right, but we gotta be kind to him and put him in situations where he's going to go out and start to develop a little bit of success.
And how about Tommy Lloyd taking the guys out to Coors Field over the weekend? The U19 basketball team. There was pictures of them down on the field with Torey Lovullo and a bunch of the U of A guys. Koa Pete, who's obviously made that team, took pictures with Kevin Ginkel, him and Tommy and J-Rock, Justin Kukowski, the trainer who's the trainer on the U19 club. So good to see some bear down energy there in Coors Field over the weekend with the U19 crew and the Diamondbacks as well, getting 2 out of 3. So we'll get more into Diamondbacks have a game coming up In again, 4:40 is going to be first pitch tonight in Chicago at the, I don't know what they call it now. I'll call it Comiskey Park because that's all I know that it is. What is it now? MT or something, or who knows what they're calling it now. The Diamondbacks are a favorite tonight at -145 over at the Desert Diamond Casino. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the start, 2-4, 5.93 ERA. Shane Smith will get the ball for the White Sox at Rate Field. Rate Field is what they call it. Now, it's 94 degrees in Chicago. Yay. Ooh, yeah, it's a heat wave all over the country for sure.
Do you want to really quick hear the 9 countries who've produced a 300 home run hitter?
Let's do that on the other side. We want to get we'll get to Dragon Ball's update here, and we will talk about that on the other side in the 4 o'clock hour. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Dragon Ball has everything happening in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, looking here in Southern Arizona, the Wildcats and Chip Hale look to be settled in with one another. The university has announced that they have signed the baseball skipper to a new 4-year extension following the team's run to the College World Series in Omaha that ended just a few weeks back. Now, again, the deal rewards Hale after managing to get the team's first Big 12 tournament title in their first year in the new conference, as well as regional and super regional titles. The financial terms were not disclosed, but the deal will keep Hale with the Wildcats through 2030. And again, we all mentioned that the Diamondbacks will get this next series start up here at Rate Field over in Chicago with the Battle of the White Sox. First pitch at 4:40. But injuries continue to play a key issue for this team, and they will likely have a new catcher somewhere down the line this road trip. They signed veteran James McCann, after placing starter Gabriel Moreno on the team's 10-day injured list this past Thursday. Ramos Garcia, who went over 4 with 3 strikeouts in a recent outing, was designated for assignment today. And if you missed the College World Series here on Wildcats Radio 1290 this past weekend, you may have missed one of the more bizarre opening slates in college baseball this season, as Coastal Carolina manager Kevin Schnall had a slight disagreement with the home plate umpire Angel Campos.
On the course of the year.
What are they doing?
I think there's a conversation that was had with the first base coach, and now Kevin Schnall's been ejected from this game.
How does he throw the head coach out of the game in the first inning? I don't care what just happened. Schnall, now that he's out of the game, is going right after Campos.
Oh, well, the umpires just went down. Now Matt Schilling has been ejected from this game.
As he was walking past Campos, he had something to say. Campos with his back to the first base coach, and Campos took one look and made the gesture. He has now thrown out 2 members of the coaching staff of Carolina in the bottom of the first inning of Game 2 of the championship series.
And that incident seemed to snowball for the Chanticleers as LSU and former Arizona manager Jay Johnson end up taking their second national title in the past 3 seasons. And I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 2020 sports update here.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Milling and paving work will occur in the center lane of 6th Avenue from Irvington Road, and then road crews will work to the north of 22nd Street to 18th Street. Crews will work weekdays 6 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Payday. Hardworking people need a hardworking candy bar, packed with peanuts and filled with golden caramel. Payday is definitely working hard for you, so grab one now to power you through the day. Payday Peanut Caramel Bar. Get to it.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. You know, brake repair doesn't have to be expensive to be good. At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we've been providing award-winning service since 1960, including top-quality brake repairs at the best prices in town. Call, stop by, or go online to make an appointment. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing, Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch, whine, boing. No matter what kind of crunch, whine, or boing your AC is making, we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right. We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch, whine, boing. If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours. If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing, or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch. I'm crunch. You're boing. I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Second hour of our show today. Full shows all week long. 5 days, 3 hours of us with you as we talk everything sports. We will be off next week, however. The 4th of July week, I am going to Chicago to see some baseball at Wrigley Field. Looking forward to that. I've not been to a game at Wrigley Field since I was just out of high school in 1986. So looking forward to getting back and seeing some baseball at one of the best shrines that the Major Leagues has to offer. Speaking of baseball, you heard Dragon Balls. If you didn't hear his update there at the end of the last hour, Chip Hale, the news of the day, has signed a 4-year contract extension that will keep him as the head coach of the Arizona baseball team through the year 2030. Chip Hale, in a statement today, said Arizona baseball has long been one of the nation's premier programs. And I'm proud, a proud Wildcat, a proven leader, and a tremendous ambassador for the University of Arizona, with Chip leading the way. I'm sorry, this is Desiree Reed-Francois' statement, calling Chip a proud Wildcat, a proven leader, and a tremendous ambassador for the University of Arizona. With Chip leading the way, we are well positioned to compete for championships and continue developing exceptional young men on and off the field. Suresh Garamella also mentioned as Chip thanked him and Desiree Reed-Francois, as well as the Board of Regents, for their continued trust and support of him as the leader of the baseball program. So that is, again, there were contract extensions that needed to happen for Chip Hale as well as for Caitlin Lowe. We have not heard anything on the Caitlin Lowe front yet, however, but Chip Hale does indeed get his extension after taking the Arizona baseball team to the College World Series for a 19th time. That is good news. Love to see that Chip is going to be returning and continuing to lead this program. They have been to the postseason in all 4 of his years as the head coach of the University of Arizona.
Successful alumni who come back to coach at their alma mater, can't go wrong.
Cannot go
unless
wrong at
women's
all.
basketball. That's maybe the exception.
Yeah, that may be the one exception. But I also think that it's very timely that, again, we see Jay Johnson win his 2nd national championship at LSU, and the U of A is like, you know what, let's go ahead and avoid that potentially happening again.
I think it's because they've got some really amazing young arms. And the idea of having longevity and having the assuredness that your coach is going to be there long term certainly helps with guys like Smith Bailey. I mean, because if you look at the roster coming back, I mean, it's really going to be hinge upon retaining some of those guys, DK.
Right.
So a much deserved, let's just put it that way. I mean, that's a much deserved 4-year contract extension. Coach Hale's obviously done great things getting back to the College World Series this year. And in the era of NIL and paying student athletes to play for your university, having that recognition of a person who's been there, done that, won as a player, and has been a manager in the majors, and has now taken a team to the College World Series as a manager in college. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a guy like that representing a university, and you got to have him locked up for long term.
And we mentioned last week, obviously, John DeRowan is expected to be promoted to the pitching coach position. He is the director of pitching performance and strategy for Arizona baseball with the departure of Kevin Vance to take over the baseball program at San Diego State. I would expect that's an announcement that we'll get here probably as the new fiscal year begins on July 1st.
The way I understand is he and Vance were pretty tight, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so because he didn't leave to go with Vance, one would assume,
Exactly. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. We were talking in the last hour about Geno Suarez hitting the 300 home run mark, becoming the 3rd Venezuelan to achieve that. J-Dub, who is the master of the numbers, you've got some interesting numbers on the number, we're talking about Venezuela, the number of different countries that have produced 300 home run hitters.
When you mentioned that,
I
had to look it up. I was curious how many countries, how many people born in different countries around the world migrated to Major League Baseball and were able to hit 300. It turns out 9 countries.
9 countries.
9 countries.
Wow.
So there's some
let's see if we can name.
That's my point. There's some very, very, very obvious ones here.
Yeah.
U.S. obviously.
Puerto
Cuba.
Rico.
What's that? Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Dominican
obviously.
Republic.
Yeah. So obviously USA, Dominican Republic, Cuba. We'll just cross those ones off. Everybody already knows, right? I mean, Albert Pujols is Dominican Republic.
Right.
Barry Bonds and many others, American-born. Cuba was Rafael Palmeiro was the leader. Venezuela is Miggy with 511. So that's 4.
So we still got
there's 5 more countries. Yep.
5 more countries. If you want to get in on this, the remaining 5 countries that have produced a 300 home run hitter. Let's go over that list again. We've got Venezuela, United States, Dominican Republic, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. Was that the other one?
No.
That we said?
No.
They're not. What was the 5th? So Puerto Rico does not have one.
Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico may. There's not even on this list.
Okay.
This is the official MLB list as well.
So what was the 5th one? What am I said Cuba, Venezuela, United States, and Dominican. What was the 5th one I missed?
Canada would have to have one with Larry Walker.
So Mr. Larry Walker, 383.
Canada. So now we got 4 left. If you think you know one of those 4, 520-848-1290 before Dragon Ball guesses them all. 520-848-1290. So let's see. I'm sure that there's another Caribbean island nation down there that probably
there is. Very, very much so.
I
could give you the team.
The furniture company is Curaçao.
Yes.
Curaçao.
Do you know the player?
Is it Andrew Jones?
Braves. Yep.
Yeah,
Andrew Jones.
Yes.
Andrew Jones is
so that
from,
would be that's 5 we got
That's
now?
5, yeah.
That's 5.
That's 6.
Six.
Curacao, Canada,
Curaçao.
Venezuela, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and USA.
Okay.
So there's 3 more.
3 more.
We got the one north of us. Where else is baseball very popular near us?
Oh, Japan.
No, Mexico.
Mexico.
No,
Yeah,
Mexico.
Mexico would be one.
Vinny Castilla is
Vinny
the
Castilla?
career leader in home runs for Mexico.
Chili Davis wouldn't happen to be there.
Good call. Chili
Okay,
Davis
Jamaica.
from Jamaica.
Ah, that's
from
the other,
Jamaica.
That's
yeah.
the other
So
country.
there's only one more.
One more.
And I didn't even know this person was from this place. I've heard his name many times. I did not know. Central American country. Famous Central American country.
Okay.
Probably the most famous
Brazil?
Central American.
Is it Panama?
Panama.
Yeah.
Panama. Wow.
Yeah, so Panama produced
Panama's
Carlos
more-
Lee is from Panama.
Brazil's Southern America, South America.
Yeah.
So who's from Panama?
Carlos Lee.
Carlos Lee.
The
Wow.
White Sox.
White Sox. There you
You just
go.
talked about them.
There you go.
Japan's going to join that list soon because
Oh.
Shohei has 250. So he's well on his way.
He'll be there.
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Could be this year with the way he swings
So
the
that
bat.
would be 10.
Yeah.
Next year, 10 countries have produced 300
There are
home run
also,
hitters.
guys, 13 countries that produce Major League Baseball players who got a cup of coffee that never hit a single home run. Their country has never produced a single home run. There's 13 of those. We don't need to get in that list though.
All right. Nice. There you go. So sorry you missed out on that. But 520-848-1290 if you want to chime in. We're going to talk to Desiree Reed-Francois coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll get her thoughts on all things Arizona athletics. I do, though, want you to, we were talking in the first hour about the NBA Finals, and we mentioned last week Jalen Williams out of Gilbert, Arizona, and Perry High School, a champion now with the Thunder winning the title. Let's hear a little bit from Jalen Williams after the Thunder clinched the NBA championship last night.
First, I want to say I hope Tyrese is okay. I haven't looked at my phone or anything to see what the thing is. Obviously, that changes the outcome of the game a little bit, or just changes the dynamic of the game. So going into halftime, a lot of it was not letting up because he's not playing. And then two, just don't panic. When you're that close to a goal, you got to understand the other team is feeling the same way we are, and I think that gave us a lot of confidence to go out there and just play through being nervous and just try and keep doing the things that were getting us there all season. So playing hard defensively, trying to get stops, taking it one possession at a time, and then just as the game started to wind down a little bit, it's easy to take your foot off the gas and not pay attention. So we did a good job of course correcting the first half, and I thought our defense was actually pretty good the first half too. So,
Jalen, you sat up there yesterday. We were talking to you about the history of appreciating the moment. You said you couldn't go there unless you got the outcome that you wanted. So now that you got the outcome that you wanted, are you able to sort of process where you are in this time in history?
Nope. No, not at all. I actually just had my first drink, so I'm working on that. I think in a couple days I'll be able to come back down to earth a little bit. But right now I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. God's been extremely good to me. So I've definitely felt that. Coming off the court, just a lot of trials and tribulations just throughout my career, a lot of things that I don't speak on. He's been very good to me, so that was the one thing I reflected on so far. And then I had alcohol, so pushing through that.
I had alcohol. Oh, man. These youngsters in their locker room celebrations. So funny. So funny. Jalen Williams out of Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona, Perry Pumas, a champion now in the National Basketball Association. 520-848-1290. Let's give you your BetMGM Network top play for today.
Take Seattle as a short favorite. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. The Red Hot Mariners offense posted 30 runs in Chicago over the weekend. Seattle's road trip takes them to Minnesota to face a struggling Bailey Ober. The Twins have lost Ober's last 5 starts. Back the M's and the Big Dumper. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, so take the Mariners on the money line over the Twins. It's minus 129, so they're a pretty prohibitive favorite tonight. So you're only going to get $10.06 back on your $12.90 bet. Dragon Ball is not at all impressed with the Mariners. He was just saying that before the show started, that even though Cal Raleigh is ripping it up, hitting home runs. Speaking of home runs, hitting home runs, Cal Raleigh leads. I think, what was the record he hit last week? Most home runs by a catcher in something or other.
Well, he's got 31 right now. They're saying he's on pace for 66.
66.
And I'm just saying to myself, when is the last time you ever saw anybody from the Mariners keep up their pace in the second half of the season? I've seen so many leads and so many division leads disappear with the Mariners in the second half of the season. I know better than to go ahead and trust a Seattle Mariner to do something consistently throughout after the All-Star break.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We shall see. They are 39-37 right now heading into the series against Minnesota, and they are 5 games behind the Houston Astros, who are 12 games over 500 and leading the American League West. The Twins, on the other hand, are 3 games under and trail the Tigers by 11 in the American League Central. We'll get into some more of our BetMGM stuff from over the weekend. We had a lot of stuff riding on the NBA Finals as well as the College World Series, but we're going to get our break in here because we're going to chat with Desiree Reed-Francois next. DK on the Sports Tip, cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. Milling and paving work will occur in the center lane of 6th Avenue from Irvington Road, and then road crews will work to the north of 22nd Street to 18th Street. Crews will work weekdays 6 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
JT Auto, where their customers are family. Stop by their newest East Side location, conveniently located at 6947 East 22nd, just west of Cole. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where their customers are family. 372-7704. That's 372-7704. Or JTAutoAZ.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Is it hot in here or is it just me?
Honey, I always think you're hot, but it's June, and we all know it's going to get hot in Tucson. It doesn't have to be hot in our house.
Honey, you should call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. They have the solutions for us.
For all your air conditioning needs, call today, 520-492-0748.
Or visit us at picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Chris Sylvester with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Jaguars have signed number 2 overall pick Travis Hunter to his rookie contract. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reports it's a 4-year, $46.6 million deal, including a signing bonus worth over $30.5 million. Hunter becomes the 30th overall pick to sign from this year's draft. Only the Bengals' Shamar Stewart and Broncos' Jahdae Barron remain unsigned. Meanwhile, Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey wants Baltimore's defense to reclaim its identity in 2025. Humphrey saying when he arrived in 2017, quote, "It was all about the defense," adding, quote, "I feel like I've let that standard slip, and that's something I want to get back." And former Raiders first-round pick Damon Arnett is getting another NFL shot, signing with the Texans. The 2020 19th overall pick was released by Las Vegas in 2021 after multiple off-the-field incidents. Now 28, Arnett returns following a strong season with the UFL's Houston Rednecks. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we were talking last week. The athletic year for the University of Arizona has come to an end with baseball's finality at the College World Series. We'll all get a little bit of a break before we turn our attentions to 25-26, because you know these athletic years, they just turn themselves over and come quickly. Pleased to be joined by the athletics director at the University of Arizona, Desiree Reed-Francois. Desiree, first full year for you in the books. Was it the whirlwind that we all experienced for you?
Whirlwind, that's a good way of saying it. There were certainly some heavy lifting opportunities. However, I'm really proud of the great foundation that our staff has built, and you know, and also there was moments of great joy. Yes, it has been quite a year, but I'm really optimistic about the future.
All right, so you went to Omaha. Was that the first time you'd been to Omaha?
No, it's about my 10th time in Omaha.
Okay, there you go.
I love the College World Series. It is one of my favorite sporting events of all time. I used to serve on the baseball committee, so from Memorial Day through the final game, that's kind of my jam. And it was a phenomenal experience to go with that team. And like I talked about, moments of great joy, and I'm always going to remember being I went down to the dugout in North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and after that final out, and when we knew we were going to the College World Series, and I went down on the field and I just watched Brendan Summerhill and I watched Mason, and it was just Matty Martinez, and just seeing their pure joy, it just kind of brought tears to my eyes. And I just took a moment and I sat in the dugout and I just watched them all. And it's those moments that fuel your soul after the game and after that. And I was in the car after the press conference going back, and I was texting with Terry Francona, and he was congratulating us, and I was telling him about that moment of just sitting in the dugout and watching everybody so happy. And he was like, "Those moments, Desiree, those moments are what sustain you." And he was so right. So it was a beautiful kind of May and June going into that moment.
Desiree Reed-Francois, Athletics Director at the University of Arizona, is our guest. Two things off of that. One, you mentioned that you'd been on baseball committee in the prior. Was that selection committee? What did that work entail?
Yes. I was on the NCAA baseball committee, and I was actually the chair-elect. But then I ended up taking the job at Missouri, so I had to give up my chair role. So what we do is from Memorial Day, actually even before Memorial Day, and that's how. So beginning in like January, from I guess about September to January, you're looking at baseball rules, baseball operations. But then from January until you go into Memorial Day, when you're looking at selecting the best teams for the College World for the NCAA tournament, you're meeting every week with it's called a Regional Advisory Committee, your RAC, and you have a region. And so I was actually assigned, when I was the UNLV athletic director, I was assigned like the West. And so you have a certain number of conferences. And back then I had the Pac-12. And so I would talk every week with, actually Jay was my liaison back then. And so we would talk about everything going on in the West Coast, about West Coast baseball, so that way when you're in the room, you're able to advocate on behalf of and explain why is UC Santa Barbara better positioned than whatever the school may be. And so it was, I had watched a lot of baseball for a number of years.
And you mentioned your relationship, obviously, texting with Terry Francona. I mean, obviously, that there's probably a number of people like that in the alumni community, the alumni athletics community at the U of A that you correspond with. He being probably one of the more known currently for his managerial duties in Major League Baseball. But what is that relationship like with someone like a Terry Francona and the types of things that you bounce off of each other?
Well, I think it's probably a little more one-sided. I just want, anytime I have an opportunity to learn from one of the greatest, which is Tito, is just, he also is incredibly generous in his time. And he has a way of making you feel comfortable in his presence. And he has achieved so much. So I like listening and I like learning from him. And I'm just really appreciative for not only what he's, the mentoring and advice that he gives to me, but also just what he's done for the entire university.
We're chatting with Desiree Reed-Francois, the athletics director at the University of Arizona. I mentioned that there's a quick time for vacations. I know Desiree's going away on vacation. I'll be out next week. We'll get to that part of it near the end. But I do want to talk about, as we turn our attention now to 25-26, and you all release the Bear Down Blueprint last week, which was kind of like a blueprint of how this is all going to, athletics is going to move forward for this department as we get into the revenue sharing aspect. What are some of the important elements of this blueprint that is important for the public to know?
Certainly. Well, first, like we talked about, year one, we had three parallel imperatives. We had to build a team, we had to stabilize finances, and we had to prepare for house, all while managing a $140 million enterprise and ensuring our student athletes had the resources they needed to compete, to grow and to be educated. And so after we built that foundation, the pathway forward, what did that look like? Recognizing that we're in one of the most, and I was about to go really nerdy law professor on you and talk about like the different transformative times in college sports history, which I'm happy to do, but I would totally bore you. But this is one of the most transformational times in college sports history, and so we needed to make sure that we all were coming together on the same page, that there was great alignment. We understand where we're going, how we're going to get there, but also recognizing that we need accountability standards. We need to also have the ability to adjust. And so we looked at four main areas, if you will, and that's graduating our leaders. How do we make sure our student athletes have the academic resources to continue to excel in the classroom? We also, after they graduate, what does their life look like? So we put in metrics, and we're building a system so that 100% of our student athletes after they graduate are gainfully employed or are in graduate school. The second area is winning championships. We're not going to apologize for the fact that we want to be top 25 in the next 5 years. When you look at the overall Directors' Cup standing, I mean, we've been in the 50s the last 4 or 5 years. When I sound like the old lady, like when I was in school, but back in 1997, but back in the late 90s, 2000s, we were top 5, top 10 consistently. The University of Arizona should not be in the 50s. And the reason why the Directors Cup matters for us is that every single sport has an opportunity to contribute. So we want to make sure that all of our teams are competing for postseason, and that's how you get points towards the Directors Cup. And the 50s is not where we need to be. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And if you consistently put in excellent habits, then the results will be the reward. And so we wanted to have that goal of top 25 in the next 5 years. And then we have to galvanize our community. The branding power of athletics, we are that front door to the overall university. If you look at just the College World Series run and you look at the media value of seeing that A throughout on national television, our folks analyzed the media value. It was like $61 million in brand value. So athletics opens doors. Athletics brings people to our incredible campus. And if it exposes, we can get them in through athletics, and then we can highlight the incredible work that we're doing in our sciences or in our fine arts or in our studying stars, then we've done our job. And then the fourth is you got to build a sustainable business enterprise. We can't have a $40 million deficit and expect to compete for championships consistently. You might have your blips in the radar, but we have to build a strong business. And with the altruistic purpose of graduating young people. And we have the privilege of working every day to be able to impact a young person's life. And that's a special responsibility, and that's what fuels us. But we have to build a strong business.
Desiree Reed-Francois is our guest, a U of A athletics director. I want to follow up on two of the things you touched on there. Obviously, the deficit, which you came in and needed to get under control, and then trying to get to where you want to be in the Directors Cup. Can you do that in this current climate? How do you do that in this current climate where it seems like you have to spend to be in a position to potentially be a top 25 program?
First, we have been a top 25 program in our past. We have a championship pedigree and a championship past, and so we will be. How do we do that? You know what? We have to look at things differently. The one thing that with the House settlement is now we have clarity, and I am optimistic for the future. If we buy into this House settlement, then we'll have this level playing field that we needed. The last couple of years, I've heard colleagues and others express that it's a borderline chaotic environment with when you look at what people were doing with player acquisition dollars. And I get it. We're all competitors, and we are all looking for that edge, if you will, to get. But now, 20.5, every single school across the country that chooses to opt in, that is part of this settlement, we're all playing with the same amount. And so are there going to be challenges? Absolutely. This is such a massive shift in college sports history. And it's not going to be perfect, but we have great progress. And with this clarity comes an opportunity for the University of Arizona to compete and not just compete, but to succeed.
New track coach brought in Andrew Dubbs from Virginia Tech. What were you looking for in the only the third coach in it seems like the last 50 years here to run the track program at the University of Arizona?
First of all, Coach Harvey is such a good man. He has this wonderful energy and spirit and kindness about him. I'm just really thankful for the way that he has built our program, the care he has for our student athletes. And, the other day we had an impromptu going away party for him, and as well as a welcome Andrew and a congratulations to Chip Hale. And Coach Brennan and I threw it, and Coach Harvey came, and it was really special. He when he gave his speech, he literally took out a baton and handed the baton over to Andrew Doves. And Man, it was just a beautiful moment. Someone was smart enough to take a picture, and we posted it the other day. But it was awesome. So you asked me a simple question, and I went on a ramble. But I would be remiss without recognizing Coach Harvey. But when we started the search, when Coach Harvey shared that he was going to retire, we started thinking about what does our track program need. And similar to every staff member we look for high character, low ego, high outcome, and energy. That's what we look for everybody. But for a head coach, we needed a winner. We needed a relentless recruiter. We needed someone who was going to excel in the modern era of college sports. But also, we need someone with a system, someone who is going to be incredibly organized. There are roughly 85 young people on a track roster, but when you count men and women, and they compete 3 seasons. You have cross country, indoor track, outdoor track. And so you have to be organized. You have to have a plan. And Andrew, I had the good fortune of working at Virginia Tech, and I worked with Coach Dave Chinelli. I was always so impressed how Coach Chinelli didn't have very many resources, and he was running in Blacksburg, Virginia. But you know what? Every year we'd go out and win the ACC, and he was just so incredibly organized. He had a great system. And so I called on a number of people in the track world, and Andrew, his name kept coming up. And so we did a lot of background, and I knew a lot of people in Blacksburg, so it was good to talk to some old colleagues and some folks that knew him really, really well. And he, we had a great search committee, and we had a great group of candidates, but he quickly rose to the top, and I'm really excited for what he's going to bring.
All right, time for vacations. I'm going to Chicago to see some baseball at Wrigley Field next week. Where are you going on vacation?
Well, I'm going to spend the 4th of July week I'm going to take that one off, and I'm actually going to do some scuba diving.
Oh, nice. Hopefully a very nice, comfortable resort that you love.
I don't know about the resort. It's actually going to be, my husband and I are going to stay aboard a boat, like a dive boat, and it's like 3 dives a day, and
wow.
My cell phone's probably not going to work very well, but I'm hoping to see some sharks and some fish, and I like scuba diving is kind of like my thing. It just calms me down, and there's a whole. My dad was a diver at Marine World before he was an 8th grade English teacher.
Oh wow!
And so I was swimming with with dolphins and stuff like that before I could walk, and that's just my peaceful Zen place.
Outstanding. Well, be safe out there. Enjoy it. And we look forward to the business of the next year, which begins promptly the week after the 4th of July. Desiree, appreciate you as always. And we look forward to talking to you again as we get the fall going here in August.
All right. Bear down, David.
Desiree Reed-Francois, the athletics director at the University of Arizona. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Collision at Valencia and Nexus and Valencia. Also road work along 6th Street between Alverdon Way and Campbell. You could definitely save time using Speedway or Broadway instead. 75 the overnight low, 100 to about 102 through the work week, and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Prime Day.
Okay, I've got some good news and I've got some great news. The good news is that Prime Day is almost here. The great news? This year you'll have 4 days to find deals on all of your favorite things. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing, Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch, whine, boing. No matter what kind of crunch, whine, or boing your AC is making. We fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right. We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
Wine.
Boing! If you do, call Alaskan AC and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch.
Boing.
Or wine?
Wait, I thought I was wine.
You're crunch.
I'm Crunch. You're Boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Go Wildcats! As the new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Don't miss out on any of the action.
7-7 bottom of the ninth. Wildcats would love to end it right here.
As the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
2-2 and it's lined to left for a base hit. Bryfogel's going to be waved around third. Here comes the throw from Hartman. It's headed home. He slides. He's safe. And the Wildcats have won it. Mikalakis, RBI single.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'll tell you, it is very refreshing that we have an athletics director now in Desiree Reed-Francois who is all in on the Director's Cup. Because I've been all in on the Director's Cup for basically since I started in television and started tracking the Wildcats program. And great to hear that that's one of the, it was we talked about last week, it's the number one thing on their list in terms of this blueprint for success, this bear down blueprint, which we're going to get into a little bit here in this segment because they put out a video over the weekend. If you've seen it, head on over to the Wildcats AZ Athletics Twitter page, and you're going to hear it in portions. You can see the whole thing in its entirety, but we're going to play it in the portions as it deals with the different bullet points in this blueprint about how the Wildcats want to be successful in this new era of athletics, which begins this coming fiscal year, which is July 1st. And revenue sharing. Let's hear the open to the Bear Down Blueprint.
Over the past year, Arizona athletics has built a strong foundation for a bold new era.
Defined by competitive excellence, innovation, and a relentless commitment to the holistic development of our student athletes.
We started with our people, listening, aligning, and building trust.
At the heart of it all is One Arizona, a culture where every team member, every staff, every student athlete, and every Wildcat supporter moves forward together, unified by shared values, common goals, and pride in the blockade.
This mindset continues to drive collaboration, evaluate performance, and build foundation for sustainable success.
We're embracing the future, developing a sustainable revenue sharing model, leading an NIL education, and launching cutting-edge academic programs while our student athletes continue to excel in the classroom, in competition, and in life.
Our momentum isn't defined by a single milestone. It's built on culture, vision, and action. Arizona athletics is not just ready to compete, we're ready to lead. And while we're proud of how far we've come, we're just getting started.
The Bear Down Blueprint is the result of countless conversations, shared aspirations, and a collective belief in the power of college athletics to change lives.
Through our 4 strategic pillars: graduating leaders, winning championships, galvanizing community, and organizational strength, we directly align with the university's strategic imperatives and embrace the role as one of the university's most visible and unifying arms.
And what I liked about this whole thing that they put together was just the sheer number of people that they used in telling this story and presenting this message of what they want Arizona athletics to be moving forward. You heard the head football coach, obviously, Brent Brennan there, and how cool Brent Brennan. You heard from Desiree Reed-Francois. Brent Brennan threw the party last week to celebrate Fred Harvey and his retirement, how your football coach is leading those aspects. You heard student athletes in that presentation, Noah Fafita, Emma Strom from the gymnastics team, folks inside the department that we don't necessarily get to see or hear from. Cody Hendrickson, Assistant Athletics Director for Innovation and Strategy, was a part of that piece as well. Orville Jennings, the Senior Associate Athletic Directors for Operations. You probably see Orville at all of the events, but you don't really know who Orville is. I like that they used a lot of the different voices inside the department to present this message to what the path forward is going to be for this tremendous athletics department. So the Bear Down Blueprint, well, what is it? The 4 main pillars of it: graduating leaders, elevating the holistic student-athlete experience through academic support, career readiness, and performance development. Let's hear this part of the piece, which is narrated here to start by another new voice, the president of the university, Suresh Garamella.
Throughout the University of Arizona, student success is our North Star. I'm proud that our Arizona Athletics embraces and advances this mission by supporting the academic achievement, leadership development, and well-being of every student athlete. Through mentorship, academic support, and access to world-class resources, Arizona prepares Wildcats to graduate with purpose, pursue their boldest ambitions, and thrive in an interconnected world.
Arizona Athletics is dedicated to delivering a best-in-class, holistic student-athlete experience, one that enhances academic success, fosters personal and athletic development, and promotes overall well-being.
We ensure that student athletes have the support and resources they need to excel both on and off the field.
So graduating leaders, that's the academic piece of this, and something that, again, Arizona has always been at the forefront there. We're talking about 4 NCAA Women of the Year here at the University of Arizona, still tied for the most of any college in Division I. So Arizona has always been at the forefront, I think, of graduating leaders, especially into this community here. And this goes back to the piece I'm talking about when we mentioned the Directors' Cup. Winning championships, achieving sustained success in the Big 12 Conference and nationally through excellence in performance and preparation. Arizona wants to be top 25. And I absolutely loved that Desiree Reed-Francois said, we've been in the 50s, and that is not acceptable. because you've heard me say that over the course of the 2 years that I've done this program. The 50s is not acceptable. I don't like the 40s. The 40s, to me, is not acceptable. This program should at least be in the 30s, should be there this year with the run by the baseball team and some points from the men's track program. But they want to be in the top 25. That's where they want to be. That's the goal. Let's hear the winning championships part of this, and narrated initially by the man who has won more championships than anybody at this university, the great and Hall of Fame softball coach, Mike Candrea.
While competitive excellence is unique to athletics, it is deeply connected to institutional pride, identity, and visibility.
Our pursuit of championships strengthens the University of Arizona's national profile and builds community on campus and throughout the state. Winning fuels belief, unites diverse audiences, and showcases the strength of our student athletes and coaches.
Competing at the highest level, advancing in the postseason, and winning championships are integral to the holistic student-athlete experience.
Providing excellence around our programs is critical as they achieve greatness, not only in the Big 12 Conference, but on the national stage.
And the result will be earning a Learfield Directors Cup Top 25 finish. A competitive revenue-sharing framework will be strategically implemented to support recruiting, retention, and team resources to maximize performance outcomes.
And right now you've got 21 programs that can score in the Directors Cup. And I've said, and if you've heard me over the years, it takes 16. You've got to get at least 16 of those 21 programs to score, which means you cannot continue to have these falls. And the fall has been the weak link in this chain. You cannot continue to have these falls where you get no points. And that's football, that's volleyball, that's soccer, and that's cross country. And as much as we love Fred Harvey, and like she said, they did a great job there, but in the last 10 years, they've not been able to figure out that cross country piece. And you wonder if they can, because as I've said before, Northern Arizona, the Dragon Ball's alma mater is the distance running school now here within the state of Arizona. Can you even get into that conversation? Because that's two sports right there. That's two sports in which the Wildcats have not scored Directors Cup points in over 10 years.
There's a simple solution. You just put all the high schools up on top of a plateau, and then all the students have to run up and down, and that's how Northern Arizona became so good at cross country. My question is, when does triathlon become an official event?
Well, it's not gonna be right away. It's
5 years. Like there's a grace period. Right?
I think it'll be. I've been told it'll be within 5 years. That'll be an NCAA sanctioned sport, and then that'll fall into you can start to get points in the Directors Cup because it's great. You're winning, you can win the national championship, and that's awesome, and we celebrate that. But you're not getting credit for that right now because it's not. It's still not an NCAA sanctioned sport. So big goals to get into the top 25. You got to get 16 teams, and when you talk about, I just mentioned cross country has not scored, I think, since like 2012 or something like that. I'll have to go back and look at my sheet, but it's been a long time. That's two. So mark those two off the list right there. Beach volleyball, incredibly hard to make that tournament because they only take 16 teams. So you're already down 3. That's already 3 of the, you can only be down 5 to get to 16. You're already down 3 with those programs right there. So that's why it's been so incredibly hard. Was that Geno that just got hit? Oh my gosh. Geno Suarez got hit in the hand. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Diamondbacks playing the White Sox, and Geno Suarez, who we've been talking about all show, just got hit in the wrist by an inside fastball. Great. Awesome. Things just continue to get worse with this Diamondbacks team that is injured. So I want to get through these other two real quick here before we get to Dragon Ball. Galvanizing the community. This begins with narration from one of our own here. It grew up here in Tucson, played at the University of Arizona, softball all-star Kenzie Fowler.
The university's land grant mission calls us to meet the evolving needs of Arizona. Through community outreach, alumni engagement, and partnerships with Native nations, donors, fans, and sponsors, Arizona Athletics builds meaningful connections that expand the university's reach and impact.
We are proud to serve as ambassadors who bring the University of Arizona's stories to life.
Arizona Athletics is committed to strengthening fan engagement, forging strategic partnerships, and expanding our community impacts. By enhancing experiences, building connections, and broadening our impact, we will unite the University of Arizona's community throughout the state, the nation, and beyond.
Galvanizing community, strengthening those relationships with alumni, fans, partners across the state and beyond. So that's the third pillar in this Bear Down blueprint. The last one is organizational strength. This might be the most important one because this is all about the dollars. This is all about, and we talked with Desiree, $40 million deficit, not being in the hole, being able to be financially solvent so you can continue to compete with all of those other schools out there, enhancing operations, financial sustainability, professional development through a values-based culture. This starts with Asaf Crespo, who works in the ticket office at the University of Arizona Athletics Department.
Sustaining excellence across the institution requires operational integrity, innovation, and adaptability.
Arizona Athletics shares the university's commitment to strengthening internal processes, building a culture of trust and collaboration, and investing in the people and partnerships that position the university for long-term success. This includes contributing to research partnerships, student wellness innovation, and workforce development that align with the university's vision for shaping the future.
Arizona Athletics is committed to cultivating a values-driven, student-athlete-focused, and high-performing team, expanding our donor base and ticket holder base, and optimizing our business enterprise.
I've been involved with the University of Arizona Athletic Department for over 40 years. The athletic department generates over $250 million a year of economic benefit to our community. When the Wildcats succeed, our community benefits. It is now more important than ever that we all get together and support our Wildcats in this new era. Thank you for your support.
The Bear Down Blueprint is a living document built to grow and adapt as Arizona Athletics continues to evolve.
Our success will be the result of execution, alignment, and partnership between student athletes, staff, coaches, the university, our community, and all of Wildcat Nation.
The U of A is truly a special place, and Arizona Athletics holds a unique power to bring people together. While there is still meaningful work ahead, the progress we've made together fuels our path forward.
We are proud to represent the University of Arizona and the state we call home.
Thank you for standing with us. Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
All right, two of the other final voices you heard in that section, two of the most important donors currently at the University of Arizona, Humberto Lopez, who owns HSL Properties, and Jeannie Clements, who obviously has donated a ton of money to the athletics department. Her name is on the academic center there, as well as her family's name is on other facilities around the complex. So that is the blueprint for success. We're going to be diving into this a whole lot more as we go across the summer and get you set for this new season, new year that's coming up in 25-26. We're though running past time, so I want to get it over to Dragon Ball, who's got everything happening in sports, and that is in Southern Arizona as well as around the world.
Well, another honor for Arizona Wildcats baseball catcher Adonis Guzman. He was named to the College World Series All-Tournament team for his impressive work throughout the Cats' run in Omaha, including 5 hits and 9 at-bats during their games out there at the College World Series. On the softball field, however, a number of former Arizona star players have found their new homes already in the transfer portal. That includes Kaya Altmaier officially joining up with the Texas Longhorns. Catcher Emily Shep announced that she'll be going to the school up north in ASU. And the KD saga officially came to an end for the Suns. They found their trade partner in the Rockets, sending the former MVP to Houston for a package including Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the 10th overall pick in this year's draft, as well as 5 second-round picks. Finding out about it at Fanatics Fest, Durant seemed pleased to just have the whole issue behind him.
You know, when people could just hang your career in the balance like that and just choose what they want to do with your career, it's a nerve-wracking feeling, but being able to kind of dictate what you want to do and then being with a team that values you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Kevin, people are going to hold on to that dictate what you want to do. Did you have a hand in this?
Most definitely.
How much of it?
I mean, they asked me where I wanted to go. Some of my destinations, I gave it to them, and here we are.
Can you tell me what, I'm going to follow you wherever you go. I'm going to be your biggest fan. I want to know why Houston. Obviously, close to Austin, you've got, Imagn there, Jeff Green's there, you played with him. Why Houston?
We just had a great season last year, love their leadership. I felt like I'd be a good addition.
Again, the Suns have reportedly said that they are not looking to deal Jalen Green or Dillon Brooks ahead of the draft, suggesting they will look to rebuild with both players moving forward. And the NBA championship officially going to the Oklahoma City Thunder following last night's Game 7. And the update many were expecting, but none wanted to hear. The Pacers have confirmed star point guard Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles tendon early in the first quarter. 25-year-old joins Damian Lillard and Celtics star Jason Tatum in a long list of Achilles injuries that plagued this year's postseason. All three return next season, currently up in the air due to the lengthy rehab that comes with the injury. And I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports Update on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. I-10 near Alvernon. Collision occurred. It's off in the median. I-10 near Alvernon. Some slowing for both directions of traffic on I-10 near Alvernon Way. Also collision at Valencia and Nexus and Valencia. 75 the overnight low, about 100 to 102 through the work week, 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Frosty flavors. Love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla Frosty flavors? Announcing all new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors. The same creamy treat you love, now with a flavor refresh. Refresh on a classic? Gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Your home for U of A football.
Nobody will catch him. Touchdown, Arizona.
Men's basketball.
Midcourt. Shot is up. Good.
And baseball.
Here comes the winning run. And the Cats have won it.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Sponsored by Rumble. Want to join 59 million others who are tuning in to a fresh alternative to mainstream news and information that isn't delivered with an agenda? Enjoy your daily dose of happenings from a platform that fights to protect your free speech. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play Store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose Rumble.com today.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Arizona's free safety position has a new name, the Bear.
A little ferocious name.
But it's going to be intercepted by Arizona. Genesis Smith.
Bear down with Genesis Smith and the Cats all season long. Right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Arizona is expecting record-breaking highs this year. Is your AC ready to handle it? When systems work overtime, they break down. You might hear weird noises, smell something off, or worse, feel no cool air at all. Rightway is standing by with 15% off any AC repair to get you cooled off fast. Or play it smart. Book your $65 AC tune-up now and avoid emergency calls when the Arizona heat gets brutal. Call 520-640-COOL or visit rightwayac.com.
Get ready for July 4th with early savings at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Stay Green or premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 6/25. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely, and you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station. What does it take to work for Arizona Athletics?
Whenever we hire anyone, we talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy.
We are your home for U of A sports. Wildcats Radio, 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we've got an update on the situation in Chicago involving the Diamondbacks and Geno Suarez. Breaking news. If you were with us at the end of the last hour, Geno Suarez hit by a pitch in the wrist in the first inning of tonight's game in Chicago against the White Sox. The Diamondbacks did get a couple of runs in the first. Josh Naylor, a 2-run double. But after getting hit, Geno Suarez stayed in the game. But at the end of the inning, he was pulled and will not remain out there tonight. Edamero Vargas has come into the ball game to play third base. Had a good game over the weekend, did Vargas. Had a couple of hits. I believe it was in the game on Saturday. It was Friday night. Friday night's game, which they won 14-8. So we'll await further developments on the situation involving Geno Suarez, who we were talking about earlier in the show. Just joined the 300 home run, club, 301 with his home run on Saturday. And, guys, that's just something you absolutely, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, did not want to see happen.
No, considering all the other injuries that are happening with this team, too. I mean, you can't have any more bad luck right now when it comes to the injury bug, as it just eventually they're going to have to start really looking deep. I mean, they just got done getting James McCann, a veteran catcher, because of injuries to that position. Got to wonder how many more veterans they can go ahead and get a short call for to go ahead and fill out the ranks.
520-848-1290 is our number. One more hour of the show to go. We're going to talk about the big trade involving the Suns coming up this hour. Kevin Durant on his way to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick, coming back to the Suns. There was one other player. Who was the other player? Or did I?
No, it was
just those two?
5 second-round picks.
5 second-round picks.
Yeah, 2 starters, number 10 pick, and 5 second rounds.
Okay, there we go. We got it all. Our guy, Daryl Joyner, who covers the Suns, will join us coming up at 5:20. We will talk about that. We do want to touch on what happened yesterday at the College World Series, with first being LSU winning their 8th national championship.
1 out, bottom of the ninth. Runner at first. Shores comes set. The 0-1. Ground ball towards Dickinson. Flips it to Milam. The relay to first in time. Tigers win. Tigers win for the 2nd time in 3 seasons and the 8th time in program history. The Fighting Tigers reach the pinnacle. They stand alone atop the mountain. Your LSU Fighting Tigers, the 2025 college baseball national champions. 5-3 the final here in Omaha.
There you go. It's a 2-game sweep for the LSU Tigers to knock out Coastal Carolina. But what everybody is talking about was the ejections that took place in the first inning. Kevin Schnall, the head coach for Coastal Carolina, along with his first base coach, were both ejected. Schnall for arguing balls and strikes in the first inning, and then Schilling was the coach. Schilling, for I don't have the gentleman's first name, for continuing the argument after the ejection of Kevin Schnall. Now, what you may not know is that the home plate umpire in that game was Angel Campos. Angel Campos lives here in Tucson. He's a former big league umpire. I remember Angel. He umped in the Pacific Coast League back in between 2005 and 2007 when I was doing games there. And I believe he's lived here in Southern Arizona now for about 13 years or so. I remember he was doing some games back here. He was living here back when the Tucson Padres played here and would often do their games as well. And has since leaving Major League Baseball, has transitioned into being a college umpire. When he was, in fact, was on the game, speaking about, it was kind of funny. Earlier this season, the Wildcats were playing Arizona State in one of their non-conference games here in Tucson, and he was on the plate that night and ejected the head coach, Willie Bloomquist, of the Arizona State Sun Devils for arguing balls and strikes. I had gotten a video of that, and somebody pulled my video up when all of this was going on yesterday and said, see, this guy has a history of this, and was using my video that we shot that day at the ballpark, that night at the ballpark, as an example of Campos having a quick trigger when it comes to umpires arguing balls and strikes. So that is our question of the day today. Head on over right now to Twitter, and would you, I always like to say, if you were, I used to always say if I was Dave Hickey, Dave's not here anymore, so it's now if I was Desiree Reed-Francois, if you were Angel Campos, do you eject Kevin Schnall for arguing the strike zone, which clearly you cannot do? Let's get that out there right now. You cannot argue balls and strikes, okay? Or do you give him some runway to maybe speak his piece because of the championship environment? Now, I've said before, I used to umpire back in the day, and we'll get maybe into more of this because we're not going to have time to flesh it out here in this segment entirely. But I think I told the story once. I ejected a kid from the city championship game but now this is a completely different situation.
Did he trip over your feet?
No, he didn't. He did not. Completely different situation. Kid struck out in his first at bat. I warned him. I said, I warned him. He threw his helmet. I warned him, don't throw your helmet. Throw your helmet again, you're going to be ejected. Came up the second time, struck out again, threw his bat, going back to the dugout, and I ejected him. Different situation, though, because, again, these were youngsters. These are kids, and I think if part of an umpire's job is to be a teacher out there on the field. But in this instance, if I were Angel Campos, I probably would have given Kevin Schnall, because it is a national championship environment, I would have given him a little bit of runway. Not a whole lot. I'd have given him a runway in the first and let him speak his piece. But if it had continued after that into maybe multiple innings, then maybe he gets run at that point. But first inning, I thought was a little bit of a quick trigger there.
There's always a line that can't be crossed with umps. My question is, what was actually said? Because we've heard Kevin Schnall's remarks after the game.
Yeah.
And what he says happened where he didn't really hear a warning. Then he went up and Angel said, we gave you a warning. And he responded with, that's because you missed 3 pitches. Now, that's a little bit much.
Yeah.
But to me, that can't have been the start of it. There had to have been some dialogue between them prior to that. So not having the full story, but I couldn't agree more. I mean, number one, national championship game, that's a big moment. But regardless of that, unless there's, let me put it this way. Next year when Dylan Brooks is trying to get under people's skin every second he's on the court, if they kick him out the first time he does it, that's not cool. If they kick him out the 4th time he does it after a couple warnings, That's very cool.
Yeah, no, you can't make a call on somebody based on history. I've never agreed with that. I've always thought that, okay, now you're hyper officiating the game when you do it based on that. I will say, I'm kind of with you, J-Dub. Something else had to be brought up. And immediately, if anyone has ever remembered watching the movie Bull Durham, you know immediately what you're thinking. Like, oh, there must have been something that was said, some magic word.
If fouls carried over, Lou Dort would have started last night's game with 17 fouls.
Yes, exactly. You can't judge it based on previous history. If anything was said in game one, and that's the other part of it too, there's a bit of desperation coming from Coastal Carolina coming into that game. You're going against a squad that's recently come off a national championship. You know this team has the talent. They just ended your consecutive game winning streak.
26.
The 26 straight wins. And you know that, okay, one more loss and we're done. There's a bit of stress that rides into that. So if you're going to throw a guy because he says you missed 3 pitches, that seems a bit that seems a little bit too soft, too Charmin, if I'm being completely honest.
All right, Cricket joins us now, the 4th member of our program. Cricket, have you ever been ejected from anything?
No, of course not. Come on.
You never got ejected out of Spanish class?
You
or
never got
math
mouthy with a
class?
bartender late,
You never
the
got
bouncer had to come over and talk to you?
Ejected out of your favorite bar?
No, I am a delight.
It's true. It's very true.
She is a delight with all kinds of sweet deals.
Woot, woot.
Cricket's sweet deals.
Boom, bang, 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 explosions. All the cool stuff.
And we're working on your new sounders. We'll have
Well,
those here.
I hear
promise.
the budget is kind of off. I'm sorry to hear that.
That is true.
You know,
That
just
is
They got
true.
revenue sharing, though, so it'll be okay.
Well, thank you. I think you're responsible for our extra day off this week, right? That was all you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or next week, I should say.
July
Next week.
4th or July 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, we get an extra day off. Thanks to Cricket, I think.
I have a horrible confession. I delete all those emails that come from our CEO. I delete them. And then Buzz was so excited. Our coworker was like, hey, did you hear? We get 3rd of July off. I'm like, what?
What?
He said it came from our CEO. I'm like, well, I shouldn't delete those emails.
I
Sorry.
actually listened. I actually listened to it today. She's like, she'll send videos.
Yeah,
And
she'll talk.
Yeah, I very rarely will watch the video, but I actually watched it today. I was like, I probably should be watching these.
I should too. I'm not going to delete and not watch any
Sorry,
of her
Mary.
videos.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
gonna-
Mary.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
gonna
going to go
start
up on a
watching.
podcast. They're going to hear this at some point. So this,
come on.
this
Maybe
might
they're
be
listening
this
right
might
now. They're
this might
hearing
be
it right now.
this might be evidence for an HR meeting somewhere down the road.
Mary's like, those people in Tucson aren't watching my videos.
Well, it's just me.
We get a bunch of like emails coming from corporates like, we have new training for the station in
For the
Tucson.
1290 people.
Exactly right.
Those characters on 1290. Oh, we're in trouble.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
it's my fault.
There we go.
I'm booking us
That's
into
okay.
a training session.
Right.
Sorry.
As if we don't have enough training.
Exactly.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
What sweet deal do you
Let's
have
focus.
this week for us?
Okay, focus. For DeBella's.
DeBella's.
DeBella's Brunch and Booze. They're at 9630 North Oracle. I think that's Oracle and Linda Vista. It's way up north.
Okay.
And they have got, I have to be careful how I say this, the Cluckin' Oinker Monte Cristo.
Okay.
Cristo, Monte Cristo,
Mm-hmm.
right? The green chili pulled pork, and they have these, they call it decadent cinnamon baked apples. You can, of course, pair your meal with a cold brew coffee. They've got bubbly mimosas and draft beer. They are open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. DeBella's Brunch and Booze. You'll pay $25 on Friday, but get $50 to spend. 8:30 Friday morning at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
I got to check that out. I'm all about the brunch and the little day drinking on the weekends.
But your
so-
wife doesn't like the word brunch.
She hates it. She
So
hates
let's
it. I
just
like
say-
it. She hates it.
Let's just call it DeBella's and Booze.
DeBella's and Booze.
Yeah, we'll just
I
leave
like
out the
that.
brunch for a second.
All right.
Yeah.
That's so so that's Friday, 8:30 a.m. Get you some DeBella's and booze and all that good stuff. All right, Cricket's got you heading home on this hot. Did you hear the road buckle is buckling
What?
in the Midwest?
Oh, wait. Is it melting?
Apparently the road is just buckling and popping up in the Midwest.
Well, we don't have that here.
It's so hot. Dragon Ball's worried that we don't have the right kind of streets here. I think we do because it's not. I think
He
we're
looks
good.
very concerned.
I think we're good.
You get buckling when you have moisture underneath, and we don't have that problem. We just have potholes.
Yeah, that's true.
Truth.
All right. there
Very
we go.
true.
All right. So don't have to worry about any ramps, any jump ramps being created
Let's
down
hope
the
not.
streets here of Tucson.
Mhm.
Get them home, Cricket.
And from the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Pima and Swan traffic signals malfunctioning. Collisions Harrison north of Golf Links. Also a wreck that occurred on or from I-10 near Alvernon Way. That collision off in the median. Slowdowns both directions on I-10 near Alvernon. 75 the overnight low, 100 for tomorrow, and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
Bobby Bones here with some easy trivia. What does the Staples Easy button say? That was easy. Boom. I mean, that was easy. You knew that, right? And now you know to press it for prints, shipping, and even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. I see you, Staples. That was easy.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Because of the gospel rescue missions, my kids still have their dad. I lived a life on the streets, ultimately leading me to prison. I came to the gospel rescue mission not looking for a shelter, but for a second chance to be a better person. I worked the program, gave my life to Christ, and got baptized. And when I came out of that water, it was like all the weight of my old self stayed behind.
Your support does more than rewrite stories like Ryan's. It transforms generations. If you want to help or if you need help, go to grmtucson.com.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. The Minnesota Lynx just keep on rolling, even without their best player. Nafisa Collier was held out for Minnesota's matchup with the LA Sparks on Saturday due to a back injury suffered last week against the Aces. The Lynx struggled to find their footing without their top scorer and rebounder, trailing LA at halftime 35-34. They needed someone to step up. Enter Kayla McBride. McBride finished with a season-high 29 points, 15 in the fourth quarter, as Minnesota pulled away for an 82-66 victory. The Lynx improved to 12-1 on the season, and McBride silenced her doubters.
You know, you go and you watch your highlights, right? Like, after you miss a couple of shots, you're like, oh, wait, I can't shoot the ball. You know, you watch a couple of your highlights, you come back, do it all over again. That's it. You know, I've been doing this way too long to get bogged down by a couple of bad shooting nights. So I just wanted to, like I said, just enjoy it.
Minnesota will take on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in the Commissioner's Cup Championship game on Tuesday. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Jody Jackson on Westwood One.
The cost of mesothelioma treatments can exceed $400,000, and families often face losing their homes and life savings just to pay the bill. The Rights and Claims Department of Flint Cooper has helped victims secure financial support they need to pay for their care and ensure their family's future. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma and don't have legal representation, call Flint Cooper now at 800-606-8169. Time is running out for you to file a claim, so don't wait. Call 800-606-8169 for a free consultation.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/2025. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management and practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the phone number. The Suns are dealing Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets for guard Jalen Green, forward Dylan Brooks, Oregon Ducks, number 10 overall pick in this year's draft. Could that be Carter Bryant? And 5 second-round picks, which they'll probably deal away because, Matt Ishbia likes to trade his assets and get established players. Let's talk some NBA basketball and the Suns trade with our guy that covers the Suns up in Phoenix. His name is Daryl Joyner, longtime NBA reporter going back to the Bulls days. Daryl, we haven't talked to you since we chatted with Sam Smith, longtime beat writer, Hall of Fame beat writer for the Chicago Bulls, who was covering the team back when you were. Sam was pretty good. He was one of the better fun interviews we've had. Now makes his winter home playing golf in Scottsdale. You should look him up and play around with him.
Well, yeah, Sam and I go way back to the glory years of Jordan and the Bulls. It's funny that a lot of, comparisons were made to SGA yesterday when they won the championship, as to him winning the MVP, going on to be the MVP of the of last night's championship series. And it's funny that yesterday you had the Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and also you had the announcement of the trade with Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets, which has been rumored, since the trade deadline back in February, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And, everyone's been waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it dropped yesterday. And the Suns were somewhat behind the 8 ball because every team in the NBA realized that the Suns desperately needed to trade Kevin Durant. So, therefore, it lowered the value of Durant because realizing that, the Suns had no option but to trade him. So the amount of the products that were received in return for a Dylan Brooks and a Jaylen Brown and those draft picks were somewhat lower than had expected, considering you're talking, Kevin Durant, perennial All-Star, 2-time MVP in the NBA Finals, an Olympian, one of the top scorers ever to play the game, and he's still, at 37, he's averaging about 26 points per ball game. So, the Suns were behind the 8 ball, and I guess they got what they felt as though that they could get out of it. But people don't realize that Kevin Durant had a big hand in going to Houston and also going to the place where he wanted to play.
Daryl Joyner joining us, covers the Phoenix Suns. Daryl, you obviously have been covering this team through the duration of Kevin's short career here in the Valley. What, in your mind, why did this not work?
It's a number of reasons. They gave up so much to get Kevin KD, and basically you had Beal, Booker, and KD, and that was it. You had no bench. You had the complementary players were not adequate enough to suffice those three being successful. you had injuries for KD, you had injuries for Beal, and also Booker had a couple of injuries that kept him out of the lineup. And that three really never gelled because you combine the inefficiency of the bench along with the two coaches that they brought in that didn't work out. You had guys that were put in situations in which they weren't comfortable. KD bringing the ball up court to establish the offense. Booker doing the same. Bill doing the same. Those guys aren't point guards, and I think that also had a lot to do with them being inefficient as far as players were concerned and having a successful run there. And also, you're putting those guys in delicate situations in which, like KD, you had him playing the 5 spot many times. And with that being the case, on defense, he's playing the opposing team center. And, you've got KD is not that, big in the britches, if you understand what I'm saying. And, if you're playing defense and you're wearing a guy down who's known as being one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA, I think that had a lot to do with the performance of KD. And also you had two defensive coaches that came in here with the Suns, and defense was not top on this team's to-go list because they dealt with some serious defensive breakdowns late in many of these games that they lost in the last 2 seasons. And is it the coach? Is it the players? That's the $64,000 question. And now you bring a new coach. You bring a new coach in. This is the 4th coach coming in Ishbia's term here with the Suns, and that's another question you have to look into. How does a new coach come in with no head coaching experience? Jordan Ott comes in from Cleveland as an assistant, and he's a young guy, and you bring him in there. Basically, they're not saying to rebuild. They're just saying they're going to retool this team as far as the outlook is concerned. So we'll see how that goes.
Daryl Joyner joining us, longtime NBA reporter, covers the Suns up in Phoenix. Okay, so you mentioned that. New head coach, Jordan Ott, has never been a head coach before. Brian Gregory comes in, general manager. He's never held that position before. What have you identified is going to be the blueprint moving forward, or do we know what the blueprint moving forward for this latest regime is going to be on how they want to put together a basketball team?
Well, that is a good question because the only common denominator between Ishbia, Ott, and Gregory is Michigan State. All three have a connection to Michigan State, having worked for Tom Izzo. And a lot of people are questioning, is Ishbia getting the best talented people around, or is he just going the old boy network and hiring guys from Michigan State? That's another question because you bring in two guys that have never held these positions, respective positions before, and you've got a guy like Devin Booker who is the face of your franchise, and basically you're going to have to build around him they're saying retool, I'm saying rebuild. And, he's 28, 29 years old?
Right.
He's in his prime right now. And you're not going to, with this lineup right now, you're looking at Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Booker, Ryan Dunn, and Nick Richards at center. You're not going to beat anyone as far as in the playoffs with that starting 5 lineup. And so the question is, what is Brian Gregory going to do to make this team competitive against an OKC, against the Houston Rockets team that now they were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference last year. You bring in a KD, you've got to say they've got to be one of the top contenders going into the playoffs this year to challenge OKC. So the question is, what's going to happen on draft night, which is this Wednesday? They've got the top number 10 pick in the draft. They can get a good selection there, but that's not going to be a game changer.
Exactly.
And you look at they've got Grayson Allen on this line in the lineup still. Royce O'Neal, Bradley Beal. That's another question you have. He's got a no trade contract. The word right now is that the Suns will probably have to eat that because Bill said he's not going anywhere. His family, his wife, his kids love the Arizona weather. They love living here. And so, with that being the case, I think they may have to eat that contract.
Daryl Joyner joining us. So, I guess, Daryl, when you look at this now moving forward, for the Suns, can you? I guess how do I want to say this? Can you win? Can you win with this regime focusing on building around Devin Booker, and what type of pieces do you think that they need to put around Devin Booker? Like you mentioned, they don't really like to draft young people. They like to trade these assets for veterans. Do you trade for younger players on the upswing, kind of like we've been talking all year? Do you do a deal like potentially try to identify a SGA type player that's on somebody else's roster that you can bring in here and continue to maybe put a younger potential superstar around a Devin Booker? Do you go that route versus bringing in older veterans, I guess is the way I'm trying to say that?
Yeah, I don't think the older veterans is the way to go, considering you bring in a new coach. This young man, Jordan Ott, is 40 years old. You're looking at Jalen Green. Jalen Green has a lot of potential. You talk about an SGA. Jalen Green was the second pick in the draft back in 2021, and he had a great year last year, except during the playoffs where he kind of fell off. He was averaging 21 points per ball game, and he's a wing guy. He's got a good upside. He can fill it up. He still needs to improve his game a little bit. He's on a 3-year contract right now for $105 million beginning this year. The question is, considering the history of this team, will you be able to attract, I'm not saying older veterans, but you still need to get younger. But within that, you need to get younger, more athletic, but guys that have skill that can allow you to compete with the Western Conference, which just became a lot more competitive because you still have the likes of Minnesota, you still have the likes of Houston, you still have the likes of Denver, and Golden State, I'm pretty sure, is going to make another run as far as making some moves to put around Steph Curry, considering this is his last go-round, and I guess they want to go with the possibility of can they put together a squad that can be competitive up against an OKC. And let's not forget about the Lakers. The Lakers are also a team that's looking to be competitive. So that Western Conference right now is pretty intense.
And old Dallas just has Cooper Flag coming as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot even to mention Dallas. So we mentioned at least 6 teams right there that obviously are better than the Phoenix Suns right now. And you haven't even, thrown the ball up on the practice court yet.
There you go.
So, and those 5 draft picks that the Suns have, they extend to 2032. I'm pretty sure that some of those draft picks will end up in some potential trade, 5 second-round picks. Yeah, you got to do something with that. You got to make something out of that. Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. Yeah, you've got to come up with some package deal, I believe. Dylan Brooks, he's got a 4-year contract. He becomes a free agent in 2027-28. And Dylan Brooks can bring something to the table that the Suns don't have right now, and that's a presence on defense. He can cause some problems, on the court for other teams as far as his defensive capabilities, but also he can cause some problems on your team sometimes when he's provoking, getting some technical fouls, and not providing a stability that you need from a veteran player like that.
Yeah, well, I still can't believe that we're having this conversation when you had guys like Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges here, who could fill that role to a T and got you to an NBA Finals. Dairo, always appreciate the chance to chat with you. We look forward to doing it again as we get closer to the basketball season next year or this coming year.
Yeah, I would expect the Suns to have some press conference possibly later this week, if not next week, regarding introducing the new players.
There you go. Looking forward to that. Daryl Joyner covers the Suns up in Phoenix. Always appreciate the opportunity to talk to him. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. FEMA and Swan and Pima traffic signals malfunctioning, some slowdowns and backups. Traffic on Swan at Pima. Collision occurred I-10 near Alvernon Way. The collision off in the median. Slowdowns both directions on I-10 approaching Alvernon Way. 75 the overnight low, 100 tomorrow, 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. It's cake batter. It's cookie dough. It's the new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard treat. Now at participating DQ locations for a limited time. Fly in today for this cosmic collision of flavor. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ. Happy tastes good.
And now, a no-frills ad sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned straightforward ad. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
Dragon Ball, if you were going to be given an NIL for NAU, what sport would that have been?
Probably would have had to try it out for at least the Quidditch team.
Quidditch?
No, I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
even know what that is. What is Quidditch?
Quidditch is
It's a wizard sport.
It's a
Is
wizard
that a card game?
It's kind of like lacrosse on a broomstick with magic.
DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3 right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
The Starbucks Summer Berry Refresher is officially back. Bold notes of raspberry, blueberry, and blackberry shaken with ice and poured over raspberry-flavored pearls. Try it with lemonade or coconut milk. Available for a limited time. Your Summer Berry Refresher is ready at Starbucks.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's DK on the sports tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. We all knew what Tyrese Halliburton was risking playing through a calf injury, and unfortunately he tore his Achilles in Game 7 of the NBA Finals last night. And it's absolutely horrible that Halliburton now joins the list this postseason with Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard, as all three suffered the same unfortunate fate. So before the 2025-2026 season could even start, the Celtics, Bucks, and Pacers are all wounded, and that puts even more pressure on teams like the Knicks and Cavs to win it all next season, because right now the East is wide open. I'm Zach Gelb.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Uber Eats has deals all summer long. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans or CVS and make the most of every moment. That sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Stay connected while you're on the go and stay connected at home as well. Your Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Listen to Arizona Wildcats play-by-play. No play-by-play in the near future, but we are less than, just a little over, I should say, 2 months away from football season starting. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or Google Play. The Wildcats Radio 1290 app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions. Show the app to our road crew, our 1290 crew, when they are out and about, and they'll tell you how you can enter to win $100. The Wildcats Radio 1290 app, all kinds of good stories. Let's see. I'll tell you right now what the top story on the app is at the moment.
It's a story about how everybody in Phoenix should go give Dylan Brooks a big hug.
Right. Oh, gosh. We've got a story up there about your Mercury as well. They won their 5th straight game over the weekend. Went into Chicago and beat up on Angel and Haley and Carmela and the Sky, making a season-high 17 three-point shots. We'll get more into the Mercury on the show tomorrow. They don't play now. I think they played 5 games. I think they play 4 games in 6 days or something.
The schedule's crazy.
It is. Yeah. And now they have now they don't play till Friday. They got almost an entire week off.
I think it's because it's the mid-season tournament. So so it's only the teams who are playing in the championship.
There we go. All right. So in case you weren't watching the College World Series, we want to replay what happened in the first inning when the head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, not Chanticleers, but Chanticleers, Kevin Schnall, was ejected.
On the course of the year. What are they doing? I think there's a conversation that was had with the first base coach, and now Kevin Schnall's been ejected from this game.
How does he throw the head coach out of the game in the first inning? I don't care what just happened. Schnall, now that he's out of the game, is going right after Campos.
Oh, well, the umpires just went down. Now Matt Schilling has been ejected from this game.
As he was walking past Campos, he had something to say. Campos with his back to the first base coach, and Campos took one look and made the gesture. He has now thrown out 2 members of the coaching staff.
So again, as somebody who is umpired, not at that level. I mean, I umpired Little League and high school and that kind of thing and summer ball. But as somebody who has been in that position, I would have given Kevin Schnall a little bit of runway there. I'd give him a little bit of runway because it is a national championship game, and you want there's this famous saying now, this phrase called the show. I hate it. People use the show. Oh, when they feel like umpires want to take over these games and be the center of attention, and I hate that phrase. But what would you have done if you were Angel Campos in that situation? Head on over to Twitter right now. It's our question of the day. Would you have ejected Kevin Schnall? Would you have given him a little leeway there? Right now, 77% of you saying you would not have ejected Kevin Schnall in that situation, that Angel Campos, who lives here in Tucson, should have read the moment better. Let's hear from Kevin Schnall after the ball game. It is your Desert Diamond Casino replay, brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. Kevin Schnall on his ejection in the second game of the College World Series Finals.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is, but if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game, the national championship game, with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
Coach, just I guess on a more positive note, the just the run you guys made here. You set a couple records for winning streaks going into the College World Series, going into the Championship Series, and just kind of what the team accomplished to get here and to get into that Championship Series in the first place.
Incredible, and that's why I feel a little gutted right now, because the talk is going to be about the ejection, not this team, and it's not right. The front row seat should be the 2025 Coastal Carolina baseball team, not what happened in the first inning.
I shouldn't be held accountable for another grown man's athleticism. That is a classic quote right there.
I've heard that said at a couple
Schnall.
YMCAs playing pickup basketball, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well, what was the warning for? The warning was for balls and strikes because you missed 3. I can see how that might get underneath a home plate umpire's skin, you saying that. Maybe Kevin Schnall should not have said. Maybe he should have just took the information about the warning and not said anything. Now, granted, like I said, I still probably would have given him some runway to say his piece in that situation because it's a national championship game. But I get why Angel Campos, if that's what he said, because you missed 3 after he told you what the warning was for, I can get why he ran him.
Here's the part that I think needs to be further examined is that if Angel Campos was in fact waving and shooing him off to not have the conversation, that's not an umpire. You got to be better as an umpire than that.
Because man shooed me.
In that situation, DK, if Kevin Schnall is saying it either from the dugout or he steps out of the dugout to approach you and have the conversation, you cannot dismiss him like your 6-year-old is asking to get the Cocoa Puff cereal versus the Weetabix or whatever it is that you're trying to put in the. No, you can't shoo the manager off and
what
say.
What century is this?
I mean, I'm just saying in the sense of if Kevin Schnall is asking for an understanding of what the situation is, if he's trying to come to terms, why did you give my first base coach a warning when nothing I heard? And the umpire is, instead of going to address you, is shooing you off, said he argued pitch strikes and balls.
DK, I got an idea. The only person we haven't heard from is Angel Campos. So since he's living around here, why don't we get his side of the story, and then we can really get to the bottom
Angel,
of it.
we'd love to have you in studio if you want to come in and tell the world your story. Because I would like to hear it for sure. I'm sure everybody else would love to hear it as well. All right, we can dive more into that tomorrow. We'll hear from Jay Johnson on actually winning the national championship for the second time in 3 years. Fastest to do that in college baseball, winning 2 titles in a 3-year period.
I think Wildcat fans are sick of you talking about how great Jay Johnson is.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, but the other news, of course, Chip Hale is going to be sticking around, so hopefully Chip gets us back and we can have some fun and party in Omaha, Nebraska at some point in the very near future. All right, that is going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to J-Dub, thanks to Dragon Ball, thanks to Cricket, most of all, thanks to you for listening. That is our time for tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, 3 o'clock. DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic. Grant Road east of I-10, collision there. Westbound slowing on Grant approaching I-10. FEMA in Swan, traffic signals malfunctioning. Also collision that occurred I-10 near Alvernon Way, collision off in the median. Slowdowns both directions on I-10 approaching Alvernon Way. And that's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Mid-court, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising Uber tube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
It looks like the only sacrifice is my car, and maybe that white t-shirt covered in Chizo dust.
So, can you hand me that metal thingy?
You mean this wrench?
Well, if that's what you want to call it.
Eugene, I need my keys. I'm heading to Jack Furrier's.
Great choice, Doug. You know, brake repair doesn't have to be expensive to be good. At Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, we've been providing award-winning service since 1960, including top-quality brake repairs at the best prices in town. Call, stop by, or go online to make an appointment. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
When Ram won its first Motor Trend Truck of the Year, it was celebrated. But after 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. And now, so does the deal with Employee Pricing Plus. Stop by your local dealer today and take home a Ram truck. Ram, 7-time Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Nothing stops Ram.
Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Rams for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. See dealer for details. And 6/30/25. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
The countdown to Arizona football is on.
Fires the pass towards the back corner. Touchdown, Arizona. It was Hunter. Yeah, Chris Hunter.
When Chris Hunter and the Cats take the field on August 30th, you'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Average doesn't grow your business. Smart strategy does. At Cumulus Digital, our campaigns outperform industry benchmarks by more than 25% because we go beyond clicks and impressions, showing you exactly who saw your ad by name and address. We build solutions that fit more than 4,000 businesses that partner with us every month. Let's build one for you. You're not average, and your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com today.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station, your home for the best in college sports from the U of A across the NCAA. It's Wildcats Radio 1290.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
It is the JR Sport Brief show on the Infinity Sports Network. I'm coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you to everybody listening all over North America. I hope you've had